everybody, welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
This is a comic book review show where we talk about comic books and comic-related media and news that's happening in the world of comic book world. Yeah.
World.
Worlds are happening and colliding.
And they are colliding, and it's all happening live right now.
It's true. Yeah. Unless you're catching the show after the fact, in which case we do appreciate you watching the show anyway. But of course, if you are catching it live, you can always support the show by using Super Chats. Ask a question or comment we're going to hear on the show, and that'll be a sponsorship of sorts. It'll keep all the riffraff out, and it helps to maintain this whole infrastructure. Because, of course, that's how it's supported. In fact, a bunch of rules are being implemented over on TikTok and on YouTube, etc., that are continuing to limit creators' incomes, and so sponsorships are also kind of going the way they're dicey. Plus, one time we had a sponsorship, I will say, from a large corporation, might be one of the biggest corporations in the world, and it took, I want to say, 4 months to get paid from them. And part of the reason why they took 4 months was because they just didn't believe that you folks out there were actually subscribing to their service. They were just like, no, you're too small. You can't pull in those numbers. And I'm like, so you're punishing me for being successful. And they didn't respond.
They just assumed you were lying.
I know. They kept accusing us of, they were like, no, send us this information. No, send us this information. No, send us a screenshot of that. I'm like, all right. At some point or another, I had to put my foot down, and I was like, I'm like, what else do you need? I'm like, what do you want me to do for you? Besides, I'm like, you signed a contract just as much as I did. I delivered. There's no part of the contract that says also you need to prove definitively that you that you can actually deliver. We entered into this arrangement because you thought we could deliver. Anyway, why bother with any of that when we could just use Super Chats or patreon.com/ComicPop to help us more directly? Or again, if you're watching the show after it's live, you can always use Super Thanks, which you don't have to do, but that's the thing. If you're like, oh man, I can never join you guys on Monday nights between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I do love watching the show. Well, you can always use Super Thanks if you really want to do that. And I read all the comments, so I know if you are doing it. So know that your question or comment after the fact will be reciprocated in some way. I'm going to respond to it. That said, let's talk about it. So, comic books are happening, but also X-Men 97 finally dropped. Tiffany and I saw the first 3 episodes a week early.
Yay.
And part of the deal was we couldn't talk about it pretty much at all.
Right.
Which is why we didn't record anything ahead of time, which is why we didn't tease it in any way. I was just like, let's just keep it simple and not say anything.
Yeah.
And then we can just join in the conversation when it's done.
Exactly.
And so here we are. We will talk about X-Men 97 towards the end of the show before we get to the recommendations.
Sounds awesome.
But for now, let's talk about some comic books, folks. Oh, unless there's any news and stuff that's happening that we can talk about. I'm trying to think if there's anything really pressing in the industry right now that people are abuzz about. And certainly there's rumor, conjecture, and all kinds of other stuff, but I'd rather leave that by the wayside and instead talk more specifically about the Penguin trailer dropped. And it looks like a crime show that they put the Penguin into. It looks, as I remember, they've been talking about teasing the Penguin show for as long as the Batman had been doing a press tour. When the Batman was announced, they were like, oh, and we're doing a Penguin show, and it'll be on our brand new amazing streaming service, which will change its name at least twice.
Who's playing the Penguin?
Colin Farrell.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah, no, still Colin Farrell. Still.
I wasn't sure.
Well, he doesn't have any.
Some people who do movies don't like doing shows.
Well, he doesn't have any Emmys though, and I think that the idea is that in Colin Farrell's case, it's look, I'm, when he was probably chasing Oscars and looking to build his brand about I don't do TV shows. I actually don't know how many, if any, TV shows he's done in the past, but I will say that he's no spring chicken nowadays, and so it's well. Let's just do what we can. I think I assume that part of the deal of becoming Penguin in the movie was predicated on getting his own show.
Okay. Oh, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Because they'd been talking about the show in conjunction with the movie, almost synonymously. I remember when they were talking about the Batman, they're like, oh, and there's going to be a Penguin show.
Right.
It wasn't, right after that. It was very much incestuously connected. And it's all right. Yeah, he was on True Detective. That's right. I forgot about that.
Okay.
As well did most people. But he's a good actor, and he was fantastic as Penguin. It was brought to my attention just the other day that The Batman is my favorite live action Batman movie.
Wow.
And I love that flick, and I love everything they did with it. It was taking, the gritty realism that everybody seems to want to try and infuse into Batman, but also makes it about something and makes it fun and really embraces all the things I like about it.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love the fact that Batman is a superhero, in as much as he lives in a fantastical world full of myth and legend.
Yeah.
I love the idea that when we're dealing with Batman on his own, like he's dealing with like the crime stuff, like the really down to earth, gritty stuff. Superman, maybe we'll put him on a planet and have him deal with like a space murder, but like I don't want Superman stories to really be that grounded. I want the Batman stuff to be grounded.
Right.
And that's fine if it was reflected in the Batman, but we got all the stuff I wanted. Jim Gordon and Batman's relationship was second to none. I did love Gary Oldman in the Nolan trilogy. He was one of my like, oh my god, I can't believe they got Gary Oldman, and he's great. But like, it's all very early Batman. Like, it's all very fledgling. Can they trust each other? By the time we get to Dark Knight, it's like, yeah, okay, they trust each other, but Gordon still draws a gun on Batman because he's so concerned about Harvey Dent.
And can we trust him?
And can we trust him? But then by the third one, it was like, oh, we'll forget it. I don't really want to make it.
It's funny that you're speaking about this, because did you? I'm like, apparently, it's either YouTube or TikTok. I don't remember what it was on. It was pushing me a bunch of clips from this Anne Hathaway interview.
Yes. That was very. I read actually about it. I read some kind of blurb. Please, yeah, go ahead.
I brought it up.
Why not?
So the idea is that, like, in the interview, they're showing her scenes from movies that she probably hasn't seen in a while, including the Batman. Sorry,
Dark Knight Rises.
Her being in there though, but the point is that she hadn't seen it probably since it came out.
Probably.
And as she had, like, it's the scene where she's Selena Kyle and she's in Bruce's bedroom, where she's stolen the pearls. And it's like the reveal of who she is.
Yes.
But like, he fires the arrow.
Yeah.
And Anne Hathaway now reacts similarly to the way she does in the movie, and like, she's like, and she's like, I remember. She's like, okay, I remember every moment from this movie. Like, I remember filming this movie like vividly. And she's like, but I remember every moment from this sequence in particular. So they're watching the sequence, and I love the way that's shot. I actually saw that sequence, and then I saw that interview came up.
So funny, because you and I watched that scene, and you were like, I love this scene.
I love that scene. And it's
then out of nowhere.
It's like, hey, you love
Would you like some commentary for that scene?
I'm like, I actually would. I'd love that. I love that sequence. As much as like Bane, whatever. Like, I love Anne Hathaway as
Catwoman.
That Catwoman. It's just different. It's like unlike anything I've ever seen. I love like her elegance.
Yes.
But she's like, she goes, I look so hot doing that backflip. And she's like, so little side note. She's like, when Chris Nolan, I wanted to work with him. I wanted to be in this movie. She grew up watching Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. So the idea of being Catwoman was so incredible.
Oh,
she wanted that so badly.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, I want you to train really hard for this. He's like, because I want you to be able to do as many stunts as possible that aren't like hindered by insurance.
Yes.
That, like, in every scene, like, if we have to do it like 3 times or we do it over several days,
I want you to do them.
You have to do the scene, right? So she's doing that backflip. Like, she's doing that backflip. And I was like,
yeah, and that's funny, because that's actually the thing you noticed the most. You were like, I love how she did that backflip in those clothes and in those shoes. And I was like, that's awesome. And then she was like, yeah, I did that.
She's like, and I did that in that whole thing. And I'm like,
yeah.
And she mentioned the edit on Kicking the Cane. The edit on that is so good.
I know.
And I was like, oh, I'd love
edit.
to know how they did that.
Right, like, because she didn't, she probably didn't kick it out or whatever.
Or like, it doesn't fly up the way, she's like, the edit on that is so good. But
Nolan movies are well edited.
That sequence, that introduction for her, like the two of them meeting, is incredible.
Yes,
like,
I agree.
I love that so much.
Yeah, for a movie I'm not a fan of, for the most part. There's a lot of good in that movie. Like, I love a City Under Siege kind of movie.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of Batman versus Bane on paper, especially if you're going to distill it into one movie. But everything leading up to Batman quitting because Rachel died, and his terrible facial hair, and Alfred leaving, and all that stuff. Like, I could leave. That's for the birds.
You do that,
But the Catwoman stuff. I mean, I loved Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. I was like, that's a pitch perfect.
She's
casting.
just different. Like, and honestly,
different but familiar. I was like, yeah, but it's so different from Zoe Kravitz as well. But like,
I also like Zoe Kravitz.
But I like her too.
Yeah. They're just two totally different Catwoman. I love them both.
Yeah, I've actually never had a bad Catwoman.
There you go.
Who played Catwoman in the animated series? I want to say it was Adrienne Barbeau, but I don't remember. It was a femme fatale.
She's incredible.
But she's incredible. I loved all 3 Catwomen from the 66 Batman show. Michelle Pfeiffer, Anne Hathaway, Zoe Kravitz. Like, there's never been a bad Catwoman.
Okay.
Right?
Fair.
But
Yeah,
anyway.
but that like blew my mind. I knew she had trained a lot. I heard that she thought she was in shape until she started training for that movie.
Right, yeah. It's like, no, you look good, but you need those muscles to do things.
Yeah, she literally was like, she's like, I'm not in shape at all. But yeah, I was blown away by the fact that she did that backflip.
Oh, Halle Berry. Yeah, I forgot about it only because that movie's an abomination and doesn't really take place in the Batman universe. I'm sorry, gee whiz.
In Batman universe.
Yes, thank you, internet, for making me have to citation. Yeah, here you go. As an English major and an English teacher, I'll be happy to cite my work. That being said,
here's your
footnote.
Yeah,
with Batman in them. But anyway, yeah, but and her, I'm not, yeah, I don't like Anne Hathaway and everything, but I do love her in that.
Yeah,
just one of those things where it's like, oh,
Additionally, she also talked about The Devil Wears Prada. She's like, I haven't seen this movie in probably like 20 years.
That's such a watchable movie.
But like she was talking about like seeing like Glenn Close there. She's like,
Meryl
Streep, and how like it's a wig.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was like, what? What?
She wears it so well. She even pretends that it's real hair and convinces us.
Yeah, no, there's like a person in Hollywood, apparently they make incredible. Like, she was like, he's incredible.
That should be the only person they use.
Like,
right?
Like, just Anne Hathaway spilling tea. I was here for it. I have to find the rest of that interview.
Right. The real interview as opposed to like the TikTok chunks.
Literally her saying that she did a backflip. I was like,
nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
No. I don't like Devil Wears Prada in terms of like that boyfriend of hers.
No, but
like that lesson of like,
yeah,
because I mean, yes, is she working her ass off too much? Like, is she sacrificing? But like, everybody is really unsupportive, and like, if any of those characters had a job like hers, or even a job that they wanted so badly that they would work really hard at, they would do the exact same crap.
No, I agree. If anything, it should be, the message of the movie is just that she ends up making a decision on her own.
Right. Like, she should leave.
Yeah.
But also, spoilers for Devil Wears Prada, but she should leave, but also break up with him. Because it ain't like that character isn't going to find somebody else.
Right. No, it's
somebody
true.
better.
It's true. She also talked about working with Emily Blunt. She's like, she's brilliant.
Isn't she great? I do like Emily Blunt. And I'm not like sad that Emily Blunt wasn't
I always
Black
forget
Widow,
that's her in there.
Right? Yeah, because it's like very early Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Before she was in the alternate reality epic and blockbuster film Edge of Tomorrow, which deserved to be $1 billion franchise.
Yeah.
And
instead, don't you mean Live, Die, Repeat?
I most certainly do not. I'm surprised they didn't call the damn movie Groundhog Day in space or something. But yes, Live, Die, Repeat. They were like, oh no, it's tanking so hard, let's change the title unofficially. But yeah, that movie, by the way, if you haven't seen Edge of Tomorrow, buy it. Don't even rent it. Just buy the damn thing. I promise it's endlessly watchable, rewatchable. It's dope. Groundhog Day, it's Groundhog Day, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
no, it's amazing. That movie, like, I honestly have zero. I never had to have timelines in my head of like when a movie has come out ever. It's just not in my brain to do so. But I'm like, I have like a similar. I'm going to give it a plus or minus 10 years.
Yeah, right now, naturally.
Or I'm just like, yes, that movie and Atomic Blonde. I'm like,
Atomic Blonde's great.
I can watch that anytime.
Yeah. I just found out. I think the dude who directed Deadpool 2 also directed Atomic Blonde. And I was like, well, that's why Deadpool 2 looks so good. And like, because at first I thought I mixed up my metaphors, because like there's a dude who is making all the Ryan Reynolds movies and is like friends with him and is making Deadpool and Wolverine, but he also made Free Guy and the other one and the Atom Project, and those movies are not very good. And you can imagine, oh, well, because Ryan Reynolds has star power and he has control and he's an executive producer, this director just does what he wants, and like those movies are
does as he pleases.
Those movies are not very good.
It's like Doom.
Sean Levy, I believe, is the director, but he also made episodes that you like of Stranger Things. But I was like, oh, was he the director that Ryan Reynolds became like darlings with after kicking out Tim Miller from Deadpool 1 because there was fallout from Deadpool 1 to Deadpool 2?
Right.
But no, in fact, there was an interim director who made Deadpool 2 very good, and
Right.
that director also made Atomic Blonde,
Right.
which is also another great movie that you should buy.
Excellent.
So anyway,
we have like there's so many books that came out. I'm
I know,
like
there's
we
no
just spent
time.
15 minutes talking about
That
how much I think Anne Hathaway is like amazing,
is gorgeous and
super hot in that
Dark Knight Rises.
In Dark Knight Rises. I'm like,
yeah, but and before we
when
do
I come
finish,
back, if we come back and have like another lifetime, I want to be Anne Hathaway.
well, you know what you'd have to do though. You know, your problem is because you were involved in the theater department, but on the other side, you were like the tech director's darling, as opposed to the the director's.
That's all I wanted to be.
Girl, but Anne Hathaway she very much gives off theater girl vibes, and you would be insufferable if you were like her. I'm just saying, the theater girls.
How dare you?
They're a different sort. The theater folk are a different sort. I should know.
You?
As I was one, and still am, I guess. But I was one too. But before we get started, eagle-eyed viewers of this show might notice the wood carving of The Dark Knight Returns is down. It's because this is actually a fake set. This is not a brick wall. It's actually a curtain. And it's up against windows, which you would never know. But like these windows are old, and the studio is falling apart, and so it leaks over there now. That's a new twist. And so I moved anything valuable or anything that like would be concerning. The stone, the full stone, like 25-pound. Mjolnir, that's fine. It will withstand. Plus, it's not near the splash zone. But this is made of wood. So, in addition to the fact that I wanted you to know that I was keeping it preserved, I also wanted to show you it up close because some folk have asked for it. So here it is. It's a recreation of Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, and yeah, it is every bit as awesome as you might have assumed it was. This was, of course, opened on an episode of Letters Page, actually on this channel. So if you get a chance and you want to know more about them, the creator of it, Billy, I believe Keaton, you should definitely check out that Letters Page.
I thought that said Newton, but I think you're right.
You should definitely check out that episode and see if you can find out his information, because they did, of course, include their information. They don't just do this for fun.
No, they also have a YouTube channel.
They have a YouTube channel, so you can follow them and get their stuff. But yeah, you can see the quality.
It's amazing.
It's show ready.
It also can be hung on a wall.
Oh yeah, it has a little thing on the back, actually.
It's got the thing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, in terms of comic books,
nothing came out and the show's over.
Yeah. So what did you read, Tiffany? Let me talk about Justice League, King Kong or whatever.
Yeah, Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong came out.
Yes.
Is that one more episode?
I believe there's one more left.
Episode?
One more episode in the saga.
There's one
of
more
Justice League
episode
versus Godzilla
of
versus
this.
Kong.
I think. Anyway, yeah, it's Brian Bucoletto, and I'm gonna get there. I'm just desperately flipping through pages trying to find.
What a fantastic app this is.
This is not. No. It's doing great. It actually is fine. I just don't remember where the credits page is. Oh, I found it.
Yeah, DC likes to move it around.
I know. Art by Christian Duce.
Mm-hmm.
Duce? I don't know. And Tom
Derenick.
I was like, wait, there's another artist on this. I didn't even notice. Yeah, this issue was amazing. And a lot of storylines are colliding.
Good.
It's fun. It might be overwhelming for some folks because it's like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I'm like, no, it all makes sense. Literally, like, we don't know how often we're going to get a chance to do this.
Right. Probably never.
Grodd obviously is in control of Kong and Supergirl, and Lex is, in his Mecha Godzilla suit,
sure,
which is funny because he's just like, now I'm the Apex, and I'm like, that's funny because like
Apex Lex was a thing.
I'm like, is this like someone have that thought and remembered it? And it was like, wait a minute.
Apex Lex, I know what that really is. That's him fighting Godzilla.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's fun.
But big takeaway here from this issue, man, if you're a Guy Gardner fan, sorry to tell you.
Oh.
King Kong killed him.
Oh my God, what?
Yeah. Or Grodd killed him. Sorry. Grodd killed him. Grodd went out of his way and crushed him.
Okay.
They're like, Guy's dead. Like they're like, Guy is dead. I'm like, oh.
And that's why it's in another reality.
Because I thought maybe he wasn't.
Sure, yeah.
I was like, maybe he's not dead. Maybe he didn't die. Nope, Grodd just
killed him.
Enough is enough. They're
okay.
Like, how do we make this feel like it's serious without making anyone too sad?
Yes, exactly.
Like, oh no.
Not Guy, anyway.
Anyway, moving on. But it's fun because Batman also has a big mech suit that he built.
Sure.
And Lex is like, I get it, but like, how'd you do it so fast? And obviously because he had the flashes, so they helped out with that.
Okay, great.
And then there's like a lot of Green Lanterns. Obviously, they form their own Green Lantern mech.
Oh, nice.
Which is like brilliant. I wish it was called something else. It's called like Green Lantern Robo.
Oh, that sucks.
And I'm like, come on,
yeah,
you come up with something else.
Come on.
But it's just fun. But we're gearing up towards something. Superman has woken up. He's missing, a la like Superman
Returns.
Yeah. And we see him right at the end, like facing Godzilla, being like, "We're not done here." But like Godzilla's like trapped underwater, and I'm like, I guarantee you, Superman has put together that they need Godzilla.
Yes, of
like
course.
He's not there to beat the crap out of Godzilla. I think he's there because he's like, we need
I gotta help
him
you. Yeah.
in order to help get these guys back.
Right.
You know, like obviously they need to find the Dream Stone in order to hopefully get them back where they belong.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I wanted a big fight, and we're getting a big fight.
Yep, this is the penultimate issue, by the way. This will be the wrap up of this series.
Yeah. So I mean, and they actually, the pacing on this, they're setting everything up to be like solved in the next issue. So
that's great.
It's fun and it's silly, and like I said, I can't wait to do this on the couch. I think it's gonna. You know what? No, I'm not gonna say that. I have no idea with the guys.
It's impossible. It's impossible to know what they're gonna do.
It's impossible. I can't. I can't with that.
It's impossible. Well, I read Web of Spider-Man #1.
You did.
I did, with this amazing Greg Capullo cover of Spider-Man, which is really dope, and it's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a Greg Capullo Spider-Man anything, and so I guess this technically qualifies, so here it is. I do love them resurrecting the title. Unfortunately, it's not a comic book. It's a sampler. It just tells you about books that are coming out that you can check out. It says,
they call it
they call it featuring first tastes of the biggest Spider stories of 2024. There is no issue 2. It's just a sampler.
We're in March,
right?
We're like at the end of March. We're like easily
right. We're like halfway through this effing.
No,
well, we're not.
We're slipping out of the first quarter here.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're putting this out,
right?
It just seems interesting to not have had this ready for January.
Yeah, it just shows that Marvel is, leader of the pack. But if you were wondering, like, what's going on or what can I read that is Spider adjacent, well, you're in luck. You can pay money for this free Comic Book Day sampler and get all the action you can handle at 2 to 3 pages at a time. It teases what's going on in Spider-Man. It teases what's going on in Spider-Woman. It teases what's going on in Spider-Gwen. It teases Chasm's return and his inevitable battle with the resurrected Kane as the Scarlet Spider. So that's going on. It's not so much to talk. It's not so much a thing that like is. It's not so much that it is a sampler, because it's not like you're getting pages of books that exist. You're getting like a demonstration of what's to come that you can pick up later. And it's not the resurrection of the Web of Spider-Man title like I was kind of really hoping for.
Okay.
It's just a thing.
It's just a thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. I'm more sorry to anyone who paid for it, because like you got ripped off. Unless you want to pay for like a sampler that tells you
it's just weird to call it a title.
Yeah, like a title that existed, that has history and like hundreds of issues.
I mean, maybe they're making it like, this is the Web of Spider-Man. See all these stories.
That's exactly what it was. Oh no, that's the demonstration. That's what they want you to. Gotcha. That's how they justified calling it that.
Gotcha.
So even when it's like not, like even when it's not in the main book, it's still it's pulling shenanigans.
All right. I read Vengeance of the Moon Knight #3 this week by Jed MacKay.
Yay.
With art by, I believe, Alessandro Capuccio, I believe. Let's find out.
Right.
Let's find out. Where is your credits page? There it is. Yeah. Where is your credits page?
That's the team.
Each of I know, but I just wanted to double check.
Oh yeah, well sometimes they switch it up.
Yeah. But each of these books so far has been spotlighting a specific character while simultaneously pushing ahead the story. I really like this storytelling device for MacKay, in which we continue to push this plot along and yet also get character development for each character. Like each character gets like a highlight issue, but this plot ever moves forward.
Right. Yeah. We're not
It's
just hitting the brake, because that happens so many times.
I know. In order to be like, okay, wait, hang on, but what were they doing? Right? And it's like, no. We're going to use the therapist who is already set up, and we're going to have each of the characters go to the therapist and talk about what's going on. But each time they talk about what's going on, it's talking about the story.
Yes.
So we've had Reese, we've had Tigra. This is Soldier's issue. And so obviously everybody has a very different take on, the situation and what they think Mark would want. And that's what we get out of this. And I'm telling you, like, it's just really well done. Simultaneously, it doesn't feel out of place for what McKay has set up for the way he was telling his Moon Knight story. But it's also like a really brilliant way to tell a Moon Knight story where Moon Knight is not in the book.
Yeah, which is hard to do, but I do remember 4 Superman titles juggling it quite well about 30 years ago.
Right. But like he's telling the story where we're waiting to find out who is this Moon Knight that
it's true,
up, right?
yeah.
What that's the mystery, without being like, well, obviously, like, Hunter's Moon is in charge of the book. He's like, no, I don't, like, they're the Moon Knight crew right now.
Yeah, we spent time like developing this supporting cast, and let's give it to them.
So I mean, like, it's just an incredible, like, highly consistent book. Like, and I've said that about the Moon Knight series beforehand.
Yes, you did.
This is really just a continuation of it. I would say this would be difficult to jump into.
Yeah, this is not someone's first Moon Knight book.
If you jumped into this series, it might have given you enough information, but you might also be like, I don't understand why we're dealing with these characters. It's like, well, because the rest of us read like 30 issues learning about these characters, but then Marvel was like, we're going to launch this as a new #1, or they decided together. I'm not going to put words in anyone's mouth. McKay might have been like, that's a great idea. I don't know.
You never know.
But yeah, like, the problem is now, and I really like McKay's take on it, that like fear is a great tool, but like too much fear or the wrong kind of fear, and the villains are going to feel like they have to do something. And this other Moon Knight who showed up has made the villains feel like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not too afraid to do something. Now I have to do something, or something bad might happen to me. So they lash out against the Midnight Mission and the people they protect. Soldier also, for the first time, kind of calls it the way he sees it, where he's just like, let's be honest. He's like, we're a gang.
Yeah, we're not sanctioned. Like, we don't have like badges.
We have like our colors, and like, we protect our area, and it's all about business, and like that's what we care about, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I think Mark knew that. And so like he's taking it from his, like, what he should be doing, and that's what he and the therapist go over. And
cool.
We see that we'll be going to talk to some elder vampires. Listen,
Blood Hunt's coming.
Yeah, exactly. But also, like, that's not unheard of in this book.
Absolutely not. Yeah, vampires are a thing.
Up earlier in one of the other issues. So it's like this all works perfectly. McKay obviously is working towards Blood Hunt, and I think he's orchestrating that whole event.
He is. Yes.
So it makes sense that his stories are going to flawlessly like blend
in. So you'll be rewarded for having been like a Vengeance of Moon Knight fan.
Yes, exactly.
I think it's a great idea.
But I know I wasn't 100% on like if I was going to be interested in this series in a post Moon Knight era.
Right.
Like, what are we gonna do? Like, no, like I'm just
because you weren't really like wowed by the Doctor Strange situation after he was dead.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. For sure. But I stuck it out.
And that wasn't bad. It was just like
bad. It just wasn't really what I was looking for. But he's just so competently like crafted this support system for Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Again, through at least 1 or 2 returning characters. It's really just Tigra.
And Tigra is a tough character to crack. Like, for the most part, she has been kind of like marginalized or overlooked for so many years.
Yeah.
And I've heard, I'm not reading the series, but I've heard like the scuttlebutt online is that this is the best Tigra has been portrayed in decades.
Well, I wouldn't know about that. But but I wouldn't, because I don't really know much about her character. But I am loving the way that she's portrayed. She just feels like she's coming to the table with like a rich history.
Yeah,
that I feel fulfilled getting to know her.
I was literally reading a scene from, I want to say it was a Gruenwald story, but it was like an old Avengers comic. It was from like the 80s or maybe early 90s, in which Tigra shows up, and she's like, Captain America is basically, it's a really weird scene where Captain America is like talking to the event, like he just calls all the Avengers, and he's just like, I want you all to know you're really Avengers. Everyone's great. And Tigra's like, nice. And Tigra's like, what's Hellcat doing here? I'm the only cat themed Avenger here, and then they attack each other, and I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, no, this is very
like, wow, Tigra, really?
No, this is very different, but I think it holds true to some of that where, she deals with her grief in a very specific way. And like
Yes.
she lashes out and she's got a lot going on, but
Totally.
she's also like a parent.
Mm.
So she's got a lot of conflict.
Yes.
Which I just appreciate it. Everybody just feels very their backgrounds feel rich.
Yeah.
Even characters who we just met.
That's cool.
So it's fun.
Love it.
Just a great series.
Good.
Overall.
I read Superman number 12 from Joshua Williamson with art by, there we go, Norm Rapmund and David Baldion. This, of course, wraps up. Basically the most recent Superman story, which includes Dr. Farm and Graft and Lex Luthor and Luthor's mom and his daughter and Supercore and all that stuff, or Supercorp. I don't know, actually. When I see CORP, I assume it's pronounced core. But anyway, Superman and Lex Luthor learn to work together and defeat the bad guys. Like, it's a really classic feeling Superman story.
Right.
Like, there's synthetic kryptonites throughout the city, and Superman has to like figure out how to reverse engineer it and get it back to what it should be. And Lex Luthor busts out the old Superman like Superman rebirth suit that he wore, and like there's a good plot reason for it, but it's also kind of a fun welcome surprise. Like Superman gets to a fun outfit where he wears like a neat jacket, and like there's fun visuals for everybody, and it looks like a Superman comic should.
Amazing.
Despite the fact that there are two different artists on the book telling one story, which is also like tough, but it does a good job.
Okay.
It's great. Like, it's just a fun Superman story that goes to the heart of the character and his relationship with Lex, and introducing / putting away these new villains while, like, maybe people will use them, maybe they won't, who cares? But they were formidable for Superman and made the action work. So, which is hard to do for Superman. So I'm gonna give it top marks. It was a good fun issue.
That's great.
with good consistent art. Hiker Chris in our super chat says, "ComicPop woo!" Thank you, Hiker Chris. I just wanted to say thank you, guys. I officially graduated yesterday, and I wouldn't have made it through without your podcast. Well, Hiker Chris, please know that you graduated. You did the work. You put in the effort. You were there. We just managed to fill in the empty void while you were not thinking. But thank you so much for watching, man. Jack Graham had a contract. We had a contract. I hawked your goods. You give me money. You did not deliver. Good Justin Hammer quotes, everybody. Hulkzilla, love the Ultimate Adventures episode. The silent owl at the end was frighteningly hilarious. Thank you, Hulkzilla. Yes, we did Ultimate Adventures from the You Decide era. I just saw on Reddit somebody posted a poster from You Decide and was like, oh, and I'm happy to see a couple members of the population represent being like, yes, I also watched Comic Book. It's just weird that people are thinking about You Decide right now. And I'm like, thank you. That's very kind. But yes, I'm glad you checked out that episode. Shout out to Tenshi for doing this really fun art challenge, which if you're not following on Instagram or Twitter, you should be, because Tenshi's basically imposed on themselves.
Tenshi Arts?
Yes, Tenshi Arts has imposed a challenge, essentially to draw a representative thumbnail image for every episode as they come out. So every episode that the show drops, Tenshi does a art piece that represents that episode. It's Tenshi Arts _GT. But they did a image of Hawk, Owl, and Woody. And let me tell you something. This may be the first time those characters have been drawn in 20 years. Which is an achievement unto themselves, but also the art's just fantastic, and you can get just a ton of different fun images that represent the show and the book themselves and stuff like that. So really great stuff from Tenshi, and you should definitely check that out.
I think he also does commissions if you want to get something done yourself.
Yeah. Stupid Sandwich, thanks for your generosity. The only thing I can say about X-Men 97 is Morph has to be the delivery service in which we got X-Men cameos. Just let Morph do his thing. Also, can we get a Daredevil show from this animation team? Pretty please. Honestly, I would take this animation team on all the Marvel projects. This is dangerously close to the thing I pitched long ago, which was that Marvel should make, back then it was direct to DVD, but it could be direct to streaming, animated adaptations of their classic works, Gesundheit, of like, so essentially like you would have like an interconnected Marvel universe, but like spotlight-ish like movies, right? So it's like the Marvel universe is rolling along and you're doing like, you start with like something like 1984 Secret Wars. You just do Secret Wars as like a 90-minute animated movie. That way you get all your cast in and you do this fun, bombastic adventure. And in that story, like Spider-Man gets his black costume and everything, all that stuff happens. And it's like a fun, like almost DC animation cracked mirror version of the comic book, but it's essentially an adaptation. And then around the same time, you could also drop like Spider-Man, like movies, like Kraven's Last Hunt.
Right.
Post symbiote extraction, of course, but still with the black costume and everything, so it's like that you pepper throughout, and it's the same animation team and the same voice actors.
Right.
So it feels cohesive, but also like you can drop in and drop out depending on what characters you're interested in.
Okay.
I will say that for X-Men 97, I remember reading, and this is funny, it speaks to what we were talking about earlier. One of the members of the animation team was like, hey, I remember animating that sequence 2 years ago. That's how long they've been working on this, like 8-episode show. But yeah.
I mean, it's 2024. That would be 2022.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's how long he was working on it. Or not that he spent 2 years, but like, he did that already.
Right.
Charzy, hello, you beautiful people. Hello to you.
Well, thank you.
Have you seen all the DC report for the Teen Titans film? Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit. The idea that they're going to make a Teen Titans movie.
Yeah, you and I talked about that. I think.
Yeah, we talked about
offline.
That. Yeah. Oh, that's right. No, I talked about it on another channel.
Yeah.
My pitch was put Static on the team.
Yeah.
And then you can dovetail that into a Static movie and then expand that out and make Milestone movies.
Yep.
That's the takeaway. Hogshead, thoughts on Masterpiece by Bendis and Malieve? I have none. You?
Nope.
Stupid Sandwich, put Anne Hathaway in the next Bond movie. Yeah.
She can do her own flips.
I heard that they want like Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I don't know what that is.
He played Quicksilver in the Avengers movie, and he's Kraven the Hunter in Kraven the Hunter, the movie. He also plays Kick-Ass. And I'm like, so they're just done casting people we want as Bond now. Like those days are over.
Okay.
Like we stopped at Brosnan. Noah S. I'm sorry, Samuel Summers. Thank you for joining. Thank you. I recently had to explain a comic book origin of a comic book character to a friend and had to explain the origin. I had to provide so much context, and it really made me appreciate how easy you do it on back issues. Well, I've had a lot of time, and so have you. But thank you. Actually, this episode that is dropping this week is, I think the first half is all context. So check that out as well. And if you want to watch it early, you can always go to patreon.com/ComicPop to help us out and watch it early. Noah S. finally got to catch you live. Pizza or pasta? Pizza. All the way. So what else did you read, Tiffany?
I read, what did I read?
Did you read Iron Man?
I read Iron Man. I read Invincible Iron Man, number 16. So yeah, number 16.
What a great cover.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, like this is just a big fight issue.
Oh, cool.
Like it's just, that's all it is. Jerry Duggan on writing, Crease Lee on pencils. It looks great. A lot of fun. Tony's in a gigantic Iron Man suit.
Is his Sentinel Buster armor or whatever?
It's his Sentinel Buster armor. He was like, I tried to figure out a whole bunch of ways to solve the problem that, because his tech was stolen.
Oh, right. Like a virus or something. No, I just got punched.
And he's just like, and all I could come up with was just go bigger. He's like, that was the best solution I had. And he's like, fighting in the Australian outback, there's no way for me to recharge my battery. So I know I've got a limited amount of time on this. I love that. We set up the fact that it's like, I can't just punch everything.
Yeah.
Like simultaneously while this is happening, the X-Men are doing their thing.
Yeah.
They're starting their own like fight back. And he's just here to help try to take some Sentinels off the table.
Great.
So Fei Long is obviously interested in taking Tony down. The two of them have like a rivalry. It's not quite a Justin Hammer thing, but a little bit like a Justin Hammer thing. And he has his own suit, so smaller, like a Sentinel size ish, I guess, or smaller. It's hard to tell because Tony's so large.
Yes.
But Tony's using his own force works. It does in this. He's using Fei Long's ego against him, which I was like, how ironic, Tony.
Does he say that?
No.
Oh.
And inevitably he's able to, he's all right. So Tony's in the suit.
Yeah.
And in the suit, he's in a different suit.
Right, of course.
And so he puts the big suit on autopilot and he blasts out of the suit.
Yeah. And then what? Yeah. Okay.
And so he fights for a little bit. And then he's like, well, here's the thing. This suit's going down. Like, there's only so much time for it.
Okay.
What's the matter?
Somebody in the comments mentioned that Walt Simonson got a special mention in the back of this issue.
Oh.
That looks like his lettering.
Oh. Maybe it is.
Or that looks like the lettering that I see in Walt Simonson comic books. So maybe he lettered this issue or something.
Maybe.
But
Yeah, let me.
actually,
in the back.
Yeah, in the back, you got a special like congratulations or special mention.
Congratulations. And
congratulations, you're so great. There is a letter for this book, but yeah. Anyway, I was just like, oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
I did
not.
not.
My God, every page is a full page.
I mean, yeah. Actually, I didn't think about that.
It's like the death of Superman.
Yeah, every page is a full page.
Oh my God!
Well, okay, that one's not.
No, I got windows. It's okay.
There's 2 panels there, and there's actually a double page.
Oh, that's fun.
It's in there somewhere.
I love it.
I'm sure it is. I don't know. Again, I'm reading digitally, so
so it's tougher.
It's a little harder to sometimes pinpoint that. Anyway,
Sorry.
I appreciate though that it is, because it's also emphasizing how large the Sentinel Buster armor is. But inevitably Tony knows that like this thing isn't going to make it, so he's like, well, it's either going to be destroyed or I'm going to be destroyed or like whatever. All I know is that like this could be a one-way trip and that's fine.
What a hero.
Inevitably he gets like seemingly taken down, and like he has like a concussion, and Fei Long is in the Sentinel Buster our suit somewhere. Now he doesn't know where. He's coming for him. But I do love this image of the Hulkbuster suit just being surrounded by Stark Sentinels.
Yes,
because it's like it looks like it's just a guy, and then you're like, oh wait, no, surrounded by little Iron Man, and then you're like, wait, no,
you're the size of a hospital.
Yes.
That's cool.
And so we'll see what happens next. Like, you know, will they kill
Iron Man?
Yeah,
probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
We'll see what happens. But you know, this is a good matchup. You know, Fei Long had been in the books. He'd been a thorn in many people's like sides, but to pair him up against Tony, I like this.
That's great.
Good stuff. And it's also helping to be like, where are all the Sentinels while the X-Men are doing their thing? Well, they're over here having a big, awesome, you know, giant splash page fight.
Yeah. I just had a thought about Iron Man be like a fun little like reveal / status quo. And I know that like we've seen ideas like the Veronica protocols in the Avengers movies where it's like, I have a big suit that's up there in space. It's a satellite essentially. But like, I would love a reveal that Iron Man essentially has a space dock. You know, because I was thinking about how like Galaxy class starships have to be built in space. They're so big. You have to build them in.
Came from space,
right?
He was elsewhere. I think he went to one of the forges, and like he did build everything. So like a whole bunch of ships came down, and that's what. The Sentinel armor, Buster armor came from.
Because I would love to see, you know, just essentially like a Mars base, or that'd be kind of funny. That would be a fun little reveal in when they did Araco, where it's like Iron Man's got an entire Iron Man
he's like
factory there. He's like, what are you doing here? Get out of here!
Listen, I have all these suits. Where do you think I'm?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like I'm making suits and I'm using raw materials. I'm not wasting any stuff on Earth. Anyway,
it's a fun issue.
It's a good book.
It's just a big fight. It's a big fight scene.
Good. That's the way it should be.
Good stuff.
John Thomas, what's up, ComicPop? Anyone know what's going on in Amazing Spider-Man? Anyone care? I mean, people listen. We actually did an episode where we covered the most recent issue last week, so you can check out that episode. But as far as people caring, yes, a significant amount of people care, because every week that's the #1 book. Like, people are buying that book, and it does well every single time it comes out. So, like, trust me.
So do people like it?
People must quietly enjoy it.
Okay.
Or they're just a ton of habitual readers, or 50% are habitual like knee-jerk purchasers, where they buy the comic book off the shelf, they put it into a bagging board, and they put it into a book or into a long box that goes into a storage unit. Or you know, right? And the other half are just like loving it. I don't know. I don't understand it, but you know. There it is. Cat Lloyd from Treats. I'll stop binging back issues. Not nice. Good pull from the X-Men 97 / original X-Men series. Daniel Hospitales. Hey, Sal and Tiffany. Hope you guys had an awesome day. Thank you. Hope you do as well. Have you guys seen Shogun? If so, what do you think of John Blackthorne as Wolverine?
We have not. I really want to see that show quite a bit.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't have Hulu. And I really don't want to pay for another subscription service.
But I do hear that they're done. Like,
I want to watch it. Like, that's it. Like, it's right up my alley. It's very cinematic.
Right. Last Starfighter bought Jeff Lemire Animal Man omnibus for stupid cheap. It's absolutely phenomenal. I can't believe I missed out on another Rot World stories. Yes, yeah, a lot of Rot World. Yeah, that's that was a. I remember people really enjoying that series when it dropped. It was one of those few like that people were like, "This is a good book,"
Yeah,
despite all
yeah.
the New 52isms. So yeah, I read Nightwing number 112 from,
Nice.
of course, Tom Taylor. This time with art by Sammy Basri.
Okay.
This was a Batman Nightwing team up book, continuation of the previous story.
It's a
Where
fun cover.
yeah, it's all they're always great.
I know. This is just like it's
exactly.
simple.
I know, I
but
love
it's
it.
really clean, but it's
Yeah.
just it's fun.
Yeah. Young boy's parents were killed clearly by his uncle who was trying to get their money, and he does, and he absconds with the boy and goes, I believe, to Vietnam to try and escape prosecution and begin his fortune. And Batman Nightwing team up and stop him. That's the whole book. The whole book is just those two things.
Okay.
That being said, the whole thing is about Batman's response to Nightwing, and Batman, like, just it's an issue where we celebrate Nightwing and Batman and show why we like them in the first place.
Right.
And
Okay.
like that has been the Taylor standard when it comes to the Nightwing series. Like the Nightwing series, I promise you, if you read every issue of Nightwing that Tom Taylor has given you, at no point are you going to you're going to gnash your teeth or be upset. This is a book that is very much a testament to like giving the readership supposedly what they want.
Right.
Like this is like Nightwing is portrayed as a hero. He is effective. They give him grace and like patience and poise where they're like, this character's been around for a long time. He would not suffer this. He'd call Wally.
Right.
Like, if it's a problem that needs speed, he just calls Wally, and he does, and it's resolved. And yet it still ends up only being 22 pages. Like it's not like, people complaining about pulling Daredevil through the ringer, and then the response being, but what is he going to do? Eat a sandwich for 22 pages? And it's like, the action could still show capable heroes, and that way when they fight someone who's even more powerful or gives them a run for their money, it actually has more impact.
Okay. Yeah.
But it doesn't. This kind of storytelling doesn't grab people. It doesn't get headlines. It doesn't get word of mouth. It's just a history of things going well. And unfortunately, when it comes to our media absorption, that does not circulate. People don't celebrate effectiveness. They celebrate when things are disrupted. People are asking, what's going on in Amazing Spider-Man? I hear it sucks. Or I'm not reading Amazing Spider-Man. It's the worst thing in the universe. It's like, listen, people are talking about it. No one's talking about how Nightwing is just consistently happy and pleasant all the time. Like there is also this like looming element because of course like the killer impersonated the Heartless, who is a new Nightwing villain that I've yet to care about or even like have any memory of outside of him appearing. And so but it's a smart move. Like, oh, there's a new villain. He has a very obvious MO. I'll replicate that. It'll get the capes involved and make them chase down that guy, and I'll just slip away to another country and get away with it. And it's like that's a clever plot, and it's a good use of the character, and it's a good reminder that the Heartless exists. I wouldn't be surprised if the Heartless showed back up shortly thereafter, maybe kills that guy as a little show of force. Like it's a smart move. But again, nobody's talking about it. And Taylor's leaving the book anyway. So I can guarantee you, like, you're going to be getting some Rick Grayson crap. Not like that Rick Grayson's going to show up, but you're going to get books where Dick Grayson is going to have a hard time. We're going to Daredevil this guy up.
Sure.
Because the steward of that character, who's very, like, focused on making sure that character doesn't go through the grinder, is gone. So, just be sure to celebrate when these books are working.
Yeah. No, I get you.
But it's a good book, and great portrayal of Batman. We had a whole DC event where Beast Boy was kind of involved and important, and he asks Batman, like, everyone hates me now. How do you deal with it?
He's like,
and he doesn't bring it up, but it's like, obviously within the pages of this story, like when you're looking at it objectively, it's like, oh yeah, because Batman's scary and because he's an unpleasant person, but it's like Batman was responsible, indirectly though it may be, for 2 metal events, including the Batman Who Laughs. Like Batman has billions of deaths on his conscience. because he's just so paranoid that he created a dark multiverse where, all that crap really happened. It's like, Batman should be the least popular person in the entire galaxy.
But he's
in the
not,
multiverse.
because he's Batman.
Yeah, but he's Batman because he's the most popular and profitable. So, like, I get it. But it was a cute moment between Batman and Gar where it's like, he's just like, hey, man, you do it for this. You do it for the love of the game. And it's like, I get it. And it's like, it's really nice. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nightwing was good. And it consistently is.
Good.
So keep an eye out, folks.
That's nice. That's good, though. I mean, like you said, like, that doesn't always get things out there. That's like with Moon Knight. I'm like, the book has been consistent, but for some reason, people seem to really recognize it
as quality.
Like, I don't know. That's just because it's because Moon Knight, and they're like, wait, Moon Knight's great. It's like he has been in the past.
I think it's a 1-2 punch of like, oh my god, people are talking about Moon Knight. What? And Marvel doesn't have a lot of great stuff going on right now. So it's like, whoa, hey, I'm sifting through the trash, and I noticed the Moon Knight's pretty good. It's like a certain like big time comic book writer being like, I'm not going to that other company. I'm a Titan over here. But So anyway, chicken noodle.
Okay.
We're getting dinner. It's gonna be at our house by the time we're done.
Yeah.
Hype. So here we go. Dante Cook, thanks for your generosity. Says, hey, ComicPop family, just popping in to say the Wonder Woman issue is my pick of the week. It was so fun, wholesome, and it's nice to see the day-to-day humanity of our heroes. Plus, anytime I see Wonder Woman cry, shatters my heart. Yeah, that's fair. But we'll talk about Wonder Woman in a minute.
Yeah, we will.
But thank you very much for your support and for joining us. Hayden Hamilton moved to LA last month with the goal of working with comics in any/every capacity. Act, write, voiceover. I want to do it all. Thank you for your content to help inspire me towards my goals and dreams. Well, good luck to you, Hayden. Just be careful. Do your due diligence. Take risks, but not with your health. And good luck to you, my friend.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Revolutionary Dragon. Hey, ComicPop, with Resurrection of Magneto and X-Men 97 last Wednesday was a great day to be a Magneto and Storm fan.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about that book?
I think that's a great idea.
Well, hang on. Let me proceed to check out here.
Yes, please do. But yeah, man, I'm excited to hear about this because I love where this is going, and I think a big deal happens in this Resurrection of Magneto book.
Fantastic.
It was funny. It reminded me.
I guess it did it.
Check your email for a confirmation.
I have an order number.
Okay, well then, yeah, there you go.
I just didn't have to put any. I guess I had my payment already.
But will they lie to you about it?
Man, I hope so. You guys were along for the ride last time.
Same place, same time.
Same everything. Anyway, yeah, I read freaking Resurrection of Magneto #3 this past week by Al Ewing with art by
Luciano Vecchio.
Yeah, Luciano Vecchio. And I remember last time we talked about this, and I was like, could it be the Shadow King? And like this issue was like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, it is.
We're not even hiding this.
Yay!
It's fine. And yes, this is a really great issue, and it's very focused on both Magneto and Storm. We get to see Magneto kind of like where Ewing would like to see his
character go.
Well, yeah, it's like he ended up pulling away from the X-Men because he wasn't happy with how things were going.
Yeah,
clearly, and he wasn't happy with who he was and who he was being becoming, and the idea that like, and I'm becoming, but like a lot of people were relying on him, and he's like, oh wow, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But and then not wanting to be resurrected.
Yes.
Only now to realize he's like, no, I do. I'm ready. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm ready to be Magneto again.
And like the idea of this tells a story of a Magneto who ends up talking to himself. It's amazing. It's like amazing to see like Max Magneto talking to Magneto.
Oh,
like in like the red with the helmet and being like, we're like, homo superior. And he's like,
oh man,
is that what I look like?
Yes.
Okay. It's a lot.
Can I see the Magneto that went to the Savage Land with Rogue?
Please. For no reason.
Just give him a high five.
Nice. Yeah. Bones. But this is a Magneto that recognizes that it's not enough to just only remember the good, like the positive, that like, yes, that it's incredible and you want to make sure you pay attention to that. But this is Magneto that's like, I have to accept it all. Like he talks about his daughter and he's like, should I ignore like the fact that she died, only to remember her laughter. And he's like,
Mm,
no, it all happened.
yeah.
This is like a well-adjusted Magneto, presumably.
Well, at least we're gonna get one for now, because
For the
I'm
time
sure when
being.
he comes back, he'll be like,
Yeah. Meanwhile, while this is happening, obviously he's talking to like the Shadow King, but so is Storm. Storm's like taking on the Shadow King, who eventually takes the form of a lot of different villains, including Annihilation,
oh,
like the mask.
yeah,
Yeah. So she has to fight that. And inevitably, the two of them team up, and they make that perfect circuit that they were able to make.
yes,
They use that mutant circuit, and in doing so, it like kills Storm. And I'm like, what are we doing here?
what's going on?
What are we doing here, people? But it's only for a moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say Al's got it.
I really appreciate the fact that like, the way it's written, Al's doing a little bit of poetry here, in which, as it's happening, she's like, there's no pain.
Mm,
And then when Magneto's like, oh no, I'm bringing you back, and if like I have to like die doing it, I'm like, stop. But like
jeez.
as he's doing it and he's utilizing his powers and other such things, she's like, this hurts. Coming
Right.
back to life hurts.
Yeah.
Living hurts.
Yes, that's right.
And I'm like, that's
It's
great.
that's a good like point.
Right. And like he's like shocking her, but when we see her body in the actual like world, just don't forget she's elsewhere.
Yeah.
They're like utilizing like paddles on her to bring her
okay.
back, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then we see like Magneto like coming through the portal, and it's cool because it kind of gives you a little like sort of Dr. Manhattan moment, because he comes out as like a skeleton.
Circulatory system, yeah.
No,
or
he goes out as a skeleton, and he's forming muscles and skin, and he like shows up, and he's like, I'm ready to go.
And he's like, I'm a little younger than I was before last time.
No.
Definitely is.
But
Look at him.
He chooses to go by the name Magneto.
Okay, cool.
And I'm like, okay, we'll see what actually walked out, right?
Yeah.
See where this goes. And like you could say that, and like it is possible that that's what they're utilizing here, is that like Magneto could be slightly different going forward, because
bring me to Rogue now. I have something really important to tell her.
It was funny because I was thinking as we were in the this plane.
Yes, of existence.
Death plane.
Yeah.
With like the Shadow King.
Mm-hmm.
I had a moment where I was thinking about the image of someone in the chair, right? Someone's in a chair.
Oh, yeah.
Magneto helmet. I was like, is the Shadow King going to paralyze him?
Oh, no.
But no, he can mix it out.
Oh, okay.
Fine. So
that's right. Yeah, he's walking around.
Never mind.
Yeah.
But like for a moment, I was like, is that where we're going with this?
We're gonna swap him out.
But
I don't know.
No.
Oh, well.
It was great. It's a great issue. It's fairly.
It's great.
Like, it's a strong issue. You can really feel Ewing's respect for these two characters.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the Magneto Storm like friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I say relationship, I'm always worried people
are gonna think you mean romantic.
Yeah,
and it's like there are other relationships people have.
I am very much speaking to the fact of like them being colleagues and friends.
Yes.
And just the amount of respect they have for one another, regardless of where they've like come from, and like it's just two characters who've been around for quite a while, who are like, we're really strong and awesome, and also like, let's get it done. Let's get something done here.
Yeah. Well, it's the penultimate issue of this series. We're gonna get 4. Marvel's been pushing these 4-issue series. I guess it's smart. Change saves money.
We have seen these 4 X-Men occasionally, especially when like there's a big change up or there's something going on. A few writers will jump on to maybe tell like something that could be, you might consider this to be like a tie-in,
like a double,
but it definitely needs to be a part of the story. And most people would probably be interested in reading it, but it also isn't what's mainly happening in the book. Like probably in the book at some point, Magneto will show back up and they'll be like, oh, cool, you're back.
Right.
See Resurrection of Magneto to find out how. Technically, you probably wouldn't need to read it. But if you've been on the train this long and you have been enjoying what Ewing's been doing with Arakko and Magneto, you're probably going to read this. And it really just gives him an opportunity to kind of, put a period on the end of his sentence of like what
of
he's
this
been doing.
character.
And that's really what a lot of the writers have been doing. I feel like.
That's fair. But yeah, last issue looks like he's wearing his Cullen Bunn suit. I don't know. It's cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Speaking of that, William Cobb says it's dangerous out there. Take this. Good call. Thank you very much. Chocobo Kid, thank you for making Mondays cool. Trying, man. I know they're rough. Wilbert Robinson, Disney Plus has Hulu section or tab. That's right. There is a Hulu section, but you got to pay for it. You can't. It's not just free. You got to pay for Hulu, but it is part of Disney Plus. We do have that.
Well, so maybe we have it.
Yeah, Glassman. For my 21st birthday, I decided to have a homebrew back issues with my family on Secret Wars. Their interest and confusion was priceless.
Hey,
it is an addictive experience. I will
love
say.
It.
I love
It's
it too,
so
man.
Cute.
Cat Lawyer. I'm not usually a vampire fan, but love the Blood Hunt vampire designs. Make me think of Bloodborne a little bit. By the way, is Patrick Gleason in on any book right now. I haven't seen Gleason's name on anything in a while, but I know he's doing covers, so I would follow him. If you're in the cesspool that is Facebook, I know Patrick Gleason posts. He has like a page, and I follow it, and he posts his art regularly on that. So that's and I think he responds, so that's a good way.
I forgot to look at that preview they gave us for the Blood Hunt thing.
Yes, if you haven't seen those characters, I'll pull them up because like the Blood Hunt villains are
they said the magic word.
Yeah,
I loved the design of Bloodborne.
They very much remind me of I mean, it's perfect for Pepe Larraz. They are, and they do remind me a little bit of Bloodborne. They have ridiculous names.
I mean, this just reminds I could see that. This just reminds me of when McKay was doing some stuff with Strange.
Yeah, the Blood Coven. You got Cruel and Damascene and Smoke Eater and Unusual and Megrim and Bloodstorm 1. Presumably,
you don't want to meet Bloodstorm 2.
Hell no. Yeah, you don't want to be in that boat. But yeah, this is it. You know, and they look ridiculous.
That's fine. This is my kind of ridiculous.
Exactly.
I gotta tell you, Larraz, don't draw the leaf like that. It just looks like a hand.
Yeah.
Just going like Hank.
So there you go. The Blood Coven. These are gonna be the villains.
Oh, the Cruel and Unusual are a couple.
Yeah.
Power couple right there.
I hope so. Yeah. Oh boy.
Listen, I'm probably gonna be into this.
No doubt. How's Constantine up?
It's freaking like, what do you think? What do you think?
I bet it's brilliant.
It's written by Cy Spurrier with art by Aaron Campbell. This book is just a constant reminder of what an incredible writer Cy Spurrier is, but also that books like Vertigo in particular, but a lot of comics at all times will target things that are going on in the world around them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just it's art, it's an outlet. People can't help themselves.
Yeah.
Vertigo did that a lot back in the day. Like you would see things reflected, and that's what kind of gave it that edgier feel,
right.
And these characters wouldn't hide, what they were feeling or what they were thinking about that. And Spurrier goes out of his way to do that with John. He had in the past.
Yeah.
And he's doing it here as well. He's targeting in particular immigration and such.
That's a hot topic.
Yeah, but it's always interesting to get an outside perspective. It's one thing.
Well, and they have their own. He is,
of course,
as
but
an
we're
English
talking
fan.
about it in America in particular.
That's right. Yeah, okay, that's really interesting.
Here. Yeah, so it is that take. But it's brilliant because it's also in the vein of Vertigo. It is about story, and yes, I know it is a story, and I know he is writing it. But we talk about like American tales, like tall tales, like Pecos Bill and stuff like that, and tie it intrinsically into this. And it's, like I said, it's just a reminder of the brilliance of like Spurrier for me. Like it's just, and I'm sure this is very subjective.
Oh, no doubt.
Like, I think objectively he knows how to tell a story beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
Subjectively speaking, I think he's a genius. And I feel like if you miss Vertigo, you should absolutely be reading this because it
would encourage DC to make more books or give people like this more opportunities. I mean,
right.
If I were DC, not like I am, but if I were DC, there are 3 very talented British people who are leaving X-Men right now, and they'd be a great opportunity, I think, to see what their take on Vertigo-esque characters might be.
Absolutely. But if you're just looking to have that
to fill that
sensation of like reading old school original Vertigo, for me, this is a modern take on it. Is a modern iteration of
what they were doing,
of Sandman, of Swamp Thing, of Hellblazer, back when Vertigo first came out.
Right.
So I highly recommend this book. Aaron Campbell's art on top of it, while being, super modern feeling and super just incredible.
But so did the art in Vertigo. Like Vertigo titles, it was very modern, but for the time.
Yeah, for the times. But now, this is modern feeling because it's just, he uses so many different tools to make it happen. But it also just has that grit, the grit of original Vertigo. So, I gotta tell you, if you're not reading this and you're a Vertigo fan, please go grab it. This issue is great.
Yep,
so good. Yeah. So. Yeah, I can't,
Since you're a Pete Momoko fan, I figured I'd share the Blood Hunt covers that she's doing. Like, no, don't make no Jubilee shouldn't be a vampire anymore.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Yes. Yes. Well, remember, there's all these tie-ins. Wait, scroll up to the Jubilee one. What's that? Is that her book? Yeah. Don't forget. Remember, I've got the list.
Oh, that's right. You want to talk about the list really quick?
Oh,
You want to talk about Blood
yeah.
Hunt for a second?
For a hot second, we were at a local comic book store, and I took a photo of the reading order and list for Blood Hunt.
Yes, the comic book store in question was East Side Mags in Montclair, New Jersey. Check them out.
Yeah, so I believe Blood Hunt, the main series, will be issues 1 through 5, and there will be a red band variant also available.
Yes, $1 more, you can get a red band variant version, which has more blood or something.
Exactly. Free Comic Book Day will have a like Blood Hunt / X-Men #1 coming out. I don't know how long it will be, but there will be a Free Comic Book Day offering if you want to check it out.
Oh, that makes sense. I remember hearing there's going to be like an X-Men Gail Simone kind of like sampling. I'm assuming because Marvel likes to save money. They'll both be in one book. You'll get a sampling of what Blood Hunt is, and also
give too much. And you also usually sometimes will be things that'll reference, but you don't want it to have too much because not everyone can get a hold of those.
Exactly. So you might be getting 2 books in one.
So along with the main series. Seemingly, and again, this is from a really crappy photo. I believe it's 1 through 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then there will be limited series that includes a Black Panther book, Union Jack, Blood Hunters, Dracula. Sorry, I should tell you, Black Panther, it looks like it's 1 through 3. Union Jack looks like it's 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm.
Blood Hunters will be 1 through 4. Dracula will be 3.
Okay.
Midnight Suns, that one I can't really read.
Mm-hmm.
What I took a picture of there, probably 3. Doctor Strange or Strange Academy.
Oh,
looks like it's maybe only 2 issues.
Okay.
An Amazing Spider-Man, Wolverine will have 1. Why not?
Well, I mean, if you want to make some money, yeah.
Additionally, there'll be some one-shots. There'll be just some single issues coming out.
Okay.
It'll be Werewolf by Night, Hulk, Jubilee, Magic, Psylocke, and Laura Kinney.
Okay.
It's all gonna be single issues. You can grab those
just
if
one
you
shot,
want. Yep,
done in
just
one.
One shot, done in one.
Nice.
On top of it, there will be series tie-ins.
Yes.
So some of your books are going to have tie-ins. So some of those will be Amazing Spider-Man is going to have an issue. Avengers will have probably a few issues, or at least a couple. Doctor Strange. That's obviously it's happening. I think we're getting 3-ish issues there, maybe. I'm not sure. Fantastic Four, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Vengeance of the Moon Knight. That one, again.
Oh, yeah. It's
obviously, and Venom. So there's going to be a lot going on with Blood Hunt. But luckily,
you can pick
1,
and choose.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 main title books will be affected by this, 2 of which are McKay's own books. So that means there's only 5 series that will be directly impacted by this event. So it'll be very easy for you, in theory, to ignore it for a bit.
It's true.
If you're not looking forward to it at all, if you're just really not into it,
you can see it and avoid it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you could get all in. You could go neck deep in Blood Hunt.
Exactly. And like I said, there's the one shots. So those, if you want to pick up, you just want to it's just a character highlight, presumably.
Yeah.
Tied into this event, and then the limited series will be running alongside
concurrently.
So
gotcha. Cool. I read
that helps.
Let's hope. Batman Superman World's Finest #25 from Mark Waid and Guillaume March. I'm sorry, that's Superman. Or Wonder Woman, I should say. Let's see here. Sorry about that, because I don't remember if Steve Pugh did the art for this issue. Did a fine job. This is a flashback book. I mean, the whole series is, but this one was some time ago. It makes sure to tell you it was some time ago.
It's a flashback of a flashback.
It is. I think it's further back.
Let's go back.
I guess
even more.
Yeah. Superman and Batman take down the Joker very quickly, and then Lex Luthor springs him because Lex Luthor has a scheme. The book is a team up between Joker and Lex Luthor, and the idea is that Lex Luthor gets his hand on a scroll that sends him to the rock, that would take him to the Rock of Eternity. But the person who could read the scroll, if you read the scroll, you would go insane. So Lex Luthor's like, I'll get Joker. Joker's already insane. He can just lead me to where he needs to go.
I feel like I'm reading the scroll right now.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, someone is correct. I totally forgot McKay's on Avengers because I'm not reading it.
No.
So yeah, it's only 4 other series
there you
that
go.
are affected by Blood Hunt that aren't McKay's.
That aren't McKay's, yes. For now. Yeah, it's just a fun little, like, it's very much a throwback. If you had watched our episode of Back Issues where the guys and I chatted about like Golden Age Batman, we touch upon the idea of the world's finest comic that came out that featured Superman and Batman and occasionally a team up between the two of them. When you saw like the first Superman Batman team up, of course it had Joker and Lex Luthor team up as well. It's treated very much like a comic book crossover, like with Batman and Spider-Man or whatever. This feels like that. This is Mark Waid's homage to World's Finest classic, where it's like Joker and Lex Luthor. That story is the main story, but it feels very old school, feels very Golden Age.
Right.
So yeah, they end up going through the Rock of Eternity, and they get like the Heart of Eternity, I believe. It's this crystalline thing that like is in the shape of a heart that lets you have whatever you wanted. And the idea is that like Lex Luthor's like, yay, I get to have Superman die, and Joker's like, that is so boring. That is so mundane.
God, Lex Luthor, you're so boring.
So he takes it away from him, and then he like gives Lex a peek into his mind about what his vision is for the future, for the world, if he can influence it. And Lex destroys the crystal. He's like, you can't have it. That's horrible. What you're gonna do, which is also a fun little like homage, because it's like, oh man, an Emperor Joker. That's exactly what happens. But yeah, it's a great read. It's just Mark Waiding all over the place. Definitely worth checking out. It's such a great series. This series is like a must buy. If you love Batman and Superman, if you love Mark Waid, this is a book that will never leave you cold. You got to read the series. And the art is great. It's it is a worthy successor to Dan Mora. Dan Mora's books, not that they're on another level, but they have a very different style. They have a very different like tone. This March does a nice job telling the story. You could easily continue the series with March on pencils, and it wouldn't affect the quality at all. The infamous Mike Manhattan says thoughts on the Poohniverse. That's right. Yeah, that horrible idea about like taking the public domain Winnie the Pooh and making that awful, stupid, gross horror movie Blood and Honey. They're taking other characters that are in the public domain and then making a bunch of trash, just like, oh, and then and they made a Marvel-esque timeline of like putting them all into one movie. Yeah, like, okay, knock yourselves out. I didn't see Blood and Honey. I won't see the sequel. I'm not going to see any other tie-in movies.
What's amazing to me is like, and I'm sure that legal teams out there are trying to figure out how they can make this work.
Yeah.
But like the only reason that works and is successful is because of the effect of other like properties over time.
Yeah, like you're not doing anything new. You're banking on.
Right. Like, so you like without that wouldn't be anything necessarily.
Exactly.
Like people wouldn't care because they wouldn't understand. Like you need the context created by another company. And I'm surprised the legal team hasn't figured out how that's a lawsuit.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, yeah, to build off of that, it's just you're not actually like, if you had great ideas, you could use public domain characters that no one's heard of and then do your thing, but you're only banking on what the previously established,
like you need that
cultural understanding has. So the only reason to see it is for that. But like they made like 10 Sharknado movies, and those movies are not good in any way. It's not like, and they're not fun good. They're deliberately bad. Like they're made to be bad, which is not fun. Like that is not the kind of bad movie I want to watch. That is essentially like those are empty calories.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, thoughts on the Poohniverse? Dumb, but not for the same reason. Not because I'm like, boo. It's just like it's exploitative. It's indulgent. It's stupid. It's just a waste of time and money. And at least they won't no one's going to give them a lot of money to make those kind of movies. Cat Lawyer returns to say, Tiffany, please read McKay's descriptions of those vampires. You would love it. I should read his strange if they are like this. Love ancient evil stuff.
I wish there was a little more ancient evil in there for sure.
In Doctor Strange, yeah.
In Doctor Strange, absolutely. It's not, but there was this very specifically is making me think of something.
Yeah.
And my brain will figure it out. I think it had to do with when he died. My brain is a little too tired and
totally fair
designed out.
And Revolutionary Dragon says, I'm amazed at how good Miles Morales' comic has been in spite of being in 2 when Blood Hunt comes out. It will be 3 since Ziegler started. Yeah.
Wow,
but good for him.
Rough.
Like, Miles' book has worked regardless.
Yeah,
and
but it's still rough to be like
hijacked.
Yeah, immediately. That's how I felt about when Sword came out.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, why is this part of your awful, weird plant guys thing? Anyway.
No, it wasn't. It was
Oh, was it? No, it wasn't Reckoning War. It was the Empire.
No, it was Carnage.
Oh, it was Absolute Carnage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not terrible.
No, but like I was like, hey, yay, we're on the ship, and then it was like, we gotta deal with Bill.
We gotta
and
deal
I'm
with
like,
Carnage.
well,
Yeah, we gotta deal with Null and stuff.
Yeah, no. And
King in Black. That's what it was.
King in Black.
Yeah, but so is Daniel Warren Johnson's Beta Ray Bill book. That was also a King in Black tie-in. The first issue.
Dang. Yeah,
That's okay. He fights Fin Fang. Awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, X-Men Forever #1 came out this week.
With its excellent cover.
It's a great cover.
Yeah.
It's a great cover. It's written by Kieran Gillen with art by Luca Moresca.
See.
Yeah. This is a great issue.
Oh, I'm shocked. What?
This is a limited series. It's 4 issues. Again, feel like this is giving Gillen an opportunity to wrap up some things. Mother Righteous was kind of, I feel like she came about, I could be very wrong about this. I didn't bother to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's either in a Spurrier book or in a Gillen book. But it's an opportunity for him to kind of go, because he's worked with her, Spurrier worked with her.
Yes.
It kind of went back and forth. It's a chance for someone to go like, hi, we're going to put this to rest.
Yes.
Essentially, and not leave it where someone else has to deal with it necessarily. And so it's dealing a lot with Destiny, it's dealing with a lot with Raven, and it's dealing a lot with Mother Righteous, which I appreciate all of these things. Oh, and like Essex and the Dominion and all of that. And like, it's just filling in some blanks. This is just for those of us who wanted to know the rest of it.
There you go.
And I appreciate it, because even if we hadn't gotten it, yes, I would have wondered, but it's really nice to have Gillen go like, here's some more. You want more?
Right.
I'm like, yes, I would like to be at the Sonic for comics. I just want to push a button
more.
And ask for more. Totally. And that's what we get here. And it's just, I really like Gillen's storytelling. I like some of the, historical like fill in here. And by historical, I mean like for storylines he's coming up with.
Yes.
And since Spurrier no longer, I don't think he's an active title right now. No.
Oh yeah.
So it's nice to have at least one of them who helped to write her and helped to create her get to finish it off.
Yes.
Right. And so, how did Mother Righteous end up being taken by the X-Men? This book explains it.
Okay.
This explains how she's working with Xavier in the No Place.
Right.
This explains a little bit more about, where it all went wrong. And how Destiny kind of mucked it all up. Remember, like Destiny spoke with Sinister in the past, like our Sinister in the past. Well, apparently that Sinister died. There was another one that was made because the Dominion, like Enigma, came about and was like, I'm here,
right?
I'm watching. So it's not time for them to know that. Don't worry about it. But we also find out like that there is a cradle in the White Hot Room, which Gillen throws in a line that's like, someone's like, thank God that's there. Who knows where it came from? Like, okay, so the cradle is there, and the cradle would have the memories. Those are the Xavier, not Xavier. Those are the Cerebro helmets.
Oh,
it's one of the cradles. It's there.
Oh shit. Okay.
And no one knows why. That doesn't explain where the genetics came from.
No. Oh, for dead X-Men.
Yeah. But at least the cradle is there.
Yeah, there we go. So we got that. All right.
Right. So good.
One step closer.
One step.
It was gold balls.
One more.
Yeah.
One more. But yeah, and that essentially, Mother Righteous is like, oh no, like everything is falling apart, and there's half of me is here and half of me is in the White Hot Room, and if I get hurt there or die there, it'll happen to be here,
like in the Matrix, yeah,
right. And so she, her other half manages to like keep them going for a bit, and she's like, all right, cool. And that's when Orbis Stellaris and Dr. Stasis show up. This is all set prior to certain events.
No, sure, of course.
Recently. And she ends up using some magic in order to get herself out of that. We run into Selene because Kieran Gillen's like, I love Selene.
We didn't use her enough.
Right?
Much to the chagrin of the Cerebro cast.
Here's the thing about that. I'm glad that we get her in small doses. There's only so much Selene I can handle.
It's fair.
And I think she loses her potency when she doesn't just show up
and go like, I'm here to ruin the day. Yeah. I'm here to poop in the pool.
Say something particularly sassy, look fabulous, and then she's gone.
And then whoosh.
I feel like that's like a really great use of Selene.
Yes.
And that's exactly what she does. She shows
she's
up.
Like, hey, bitch.
Yeah, literally, she is like, hey, bitch. And Mother Righteous attempts to use magic on her, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cute! It's so cute. You think that works that way,
right?
Oh my gosh!
If only you were 10 million years old like me.
I that might work on them, but like, I'm definitely one of the people who knows the tricks of the trade, so not today." She also gives her some crap for her outfit,
of course.
Before Mother Righteous utilizes one of her like orbs, which is like holding an old like Celtic god in order to like get herself away.
Why not?
And only to be caught by Xavier.
Oh.
Who was like, "Yep, come on, we're going." And then it's revealed that like,
get in, losers.
Get in, loser.
We're going to the past. We're gonna age apocalypse this.
Get in, loser. We're gonna fix it all.
I kind of hope he does
fix it all.
Yeah, because it'd be nice if Xavier did one thing that was good in this entire run.
He did do one thing that was good. He gave us these stories.
No, Xavier didn't do that.
Yeah, he did. He created the. I know what you mean, but like,
you know, one thing it'd be nice to see Xavier behave like a hero.
Well, yeah, and he is in this. He for sure is, and he's acting like
a leader.
He's acting like a leader, and honestly, a little bit of a member of the Illuminati. But he's like, at the end of the day, he's like, I know what we're up against, because he knows obviously about Enigma.
I know,
like,
and the past lives,
and like he knows all of it. So he's like, I have to do something that is not good. Like it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do for him, in his opinion, but it's not a good thing.
Sure.
But Xavier reveals that he's like, oh yeah, no, we knew we couldn't find you until you did your little like attempt at becoming a Dominion. And that was when you blipped, but we still weren't sure where you were. And so we just kind of let Orcus know like an idea of how to find you. And then we just followed them.
Right.
And she's like, I could have been killed. And he's like,
yeah,
I was willing to take that chance.
Right. Cool.
So yeah, we get like that background. We also get the background on Sinister being in Doug, but no one knows about it.
Crap.
No, that's fine. They knew that.
Oh, that's right.
Like Xavier brought him back because they needed Doug's abilities, because Doug's still being held in like stasis in Krakoa, like the island, not the man.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Destiny, because she's been, a big player in a lot of Gillen's work, which makes her like insufferable, but also amazing. Like Gillen's just really great at giving us really strong, amazing, fun characters, and also insufferable jerks. So you're just like, stop.
Yeah.
But Destiny obviously has her book. She's been hiding it from Mystique. Mystique found it.
Yes.
And now she's not talking to Destiny. Destiny's like, oh gosh, it's all been for her.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, this is a solid 10 out of 10 issue, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, another reason you'll be sad to see it end.
Yes, but I didn't anticipate we would be given this, and
this
so
much
I
ending.
think that it is a
gift.
I think it's a gift. I think it's a gift that Gillen got these 4 issues, and I'm here for it.
That's fair.
Thrilled. Great stuff.
Well, I read Wonder Woman number 7 from Tom King and Guillaume March. This is a break from the current Wonder Woman status quo. I mean, it takes place within the same framework.
Sure. But it's like, hey, this is like happening in between.
Yes. Like we're taking a minute. The action will commence, and
take a minute.
I genuinely feel like when you get to issue 8, it'll be like you didn't need to read issue 7. And that's fine, because issue 7 is... It very tangentially relates to the story. Superman essentially says, like, do you want me to be in Wonder Woman, or would that overshadow you? And she says, yes. You would overshadow me. Please don't be in Wonder Woman anymore. And he's like, okay.
Right. Yep.
And it's like, it's almost like King doesn't need to address criticism for his work at this point, but I'm sure that he's aware of it, in terms of people being like, it doesn't make any sense that Wonder Woman would do this, that, or other thing, because Superman would just end it. And he's like, yeah, I could, but I trust Diana to be able to handle it, and this is her story, and so I'm gonna let her do that. Like, there's all kinds of Superman stories where it makes sense for Batman or Wonder Woman to show up and kick ass, and they don't, and so we'll do that with this. And so, okay, fine. And so the book is primarily about Wonder Woman and Superman going to a space mall to get a space gift for Batman. That's the book. If that is not, that sounds dumb to you, nothing that happens in this is going to change your mind. If you think that sounds fun, because it's this, I believe they call it something like what do you get for the Cape Crusader, or something like that, or what do you get for the man who's everything, and that someone is Batman. So it's Batman and Superman getting Batman a birthday present, and so they're like, "What do you get for this guy? Because he's a jackass and he doesn't need anything."
Well, it's Wonder Woman too. You said Batman.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wonder Woman Superman do that for Batman. So they go to the mall, and if you are like, "This reminds me of something," yeah, it should. It reminds you of Supergirl of Tomorrow in terms of like the high flying spaceness.
Yep.
It reminds you of Superman Up in the Sky for the issue where Superman goes to the space DMV. And that's it. It's just those two ideas put into one book, and it's endlessly pleasant and friendly and fun. It's great to see them deal with like parking structures and makeup salesmen and movie theater experiences, and I can imagine people being genuinely upset and popping a vessel over like things that happen in this issue, and I can't imagine anyone getting that upset about anything in the world, much less things that happen in this issue. But I'm happy to say that it's just a fun, pleasant book.
And there's cats.
And there's cats. There's one panel of cats.
Superman just being like,
"Hey, kittens, yay!
Let's get one. He loves them."
The idea is, they're just like, "What do we do? Like, what do we get?" And Superman's like, and then they make reference to like status quos. They're like, he's a billionaire, and one of them is like, actually, he's not a billionaire anymore. And Superman's like, "Oh, we could get him a diamond that could just offset all of his financial problems." And they're like, "Hey, would never accept it." And they go back and forth. And I'm like, I get it. Okay. So like they're going to give him a hug or something at the end. Like, I see where you're going with this. It's like, I love to know like what they're like, "Oh, he likes big things. He has like big money in the cave. Like we should get him a big thing." And then they're like, "He doesn't even have access to the cave anymore." Oh, okay. And so they, I don't want to give away what they give him, but
no, that's fair. And it's just this issue is evidence of why people need to have Amazon wish lists.
Yes. Tell people what you want. Don't make it a guessing game for them, because you'll be disappointed with what they get you, and they're disappointed in having to go to the mall.
This trip to the mall is very much anytime I've ever needed to get something for someone, like last minute, I'm out there with like under the guise of like, I'm going out with my friend to go and find something for a person. I'm 99% sure I will not be doing that.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I have no idea.
No.
I have no idea.
But it was a genuinely fun, great read, and
the cover is amazing.
Yes,
the cover game for this book has been
it's Daniel Sampere doing the best work of his career, and it's just great stuff, and I'm here for it. It was a welcome distraction, but also if you're like, this doesn't really matter, it's like, no, you know what, you're right, it doesn't matter. It's not technically important or relevant to the plot of the main Wonder Woman story, so you can choose to read it or not. But it is a genuine experience. It's just like, oh, this is nice. What a nice little thing. And it reminds me, it's like, okay, so this is just how Tom King portrays space. It's very similar to real life.
Fine.
Which I'm in. So that's my recommend. That's what I like.
I love it.
In terms of book of the week, what is your book of the week? I'm going to give it to Nightwing this week because of how pleasant and friendly and fun and like positive it was. Overwhelmingly positive. It was a great read, and it's an unsung series that I think more people are going to miss the further away from it will be. Though I did really enjoy Wonder Woman 7. I was, as much as I like Guillaume March on things, I did not care for it as much in this.
It's gotta be Hellblazer.
It's always Hellblazer.
Well,
and the Hellblazer award will go.
X-Men Forever was incredible.
Yeah. But Hellblazer is on another level.
And like, I just, it's art writing. It's the one too much.
It's like going into the reality and getting a book that got canceled.
It is. It's a gift. I mean, like X-Men Forever is also, but
yeah.
It's got to be Hellblazer. That's
absolutely.
It's gonna. I'm sorry. Every week, it's gonna. When that book comes out, that's gonna be my book of the week, probably.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So there you go. It's fun, but that's that.
X-Men 97 came out.
X-Men 97 came out, and we watched the first 3 episodes. So we'll talk about the first 2.
Which I'm just gonna not really talk about anything because I don't remember what happened between like in 2 versus in 3. So.
Right. I was very slow to talk about this series leading up to it because I really didn't understand like why. Like, what is this show you know what I mean? Like, why are you doing this now? Yeah, and that's why I likened it to being like, it must just be like the most successful thing that you guys didn't make, so you want to tie your wagon to that.
Yeah.
And I mean, good thing they did, because it's effing great. The animation is better than anything Disney has made in decades. Like, I am blown away. And by the way, it's not even really that revolutionary. The animation is good. It's good. It doesn't look exactly like the old school animation, which I'm actually very glad for. But it does not hold a candle to the animation. When 1994, when you look at a cartoon show that is a triumph in terms of animation, this show does not reach that height. But it is great looking. Like, I would even say
Well,
that
it's meant to look older too. Like, it's meant to be not so jarring.
right.
I feel
But
like,
yeah,
so
no, it
they're
seamlessly does. It's a good bridge. But like, I was thinking of like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and how it's like that was you know what I mean? Like, that show
Did
even.
that come out in 94?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh,
But
I'm like, what?
but even that show looks better.
Duh.
Right? But no, it's a good show. And it looks better than Invincible. Like, the you know, where you're like, oh, look at all the cut corners I can see in the show. Like, oh man, oof. Or any Amazon show for that matter. So, you know, like, work went into it, time,
Yeah.
effort. It's like when you see, like, for me, it is like night and day, where it was like, I'd watch, you know, a triumphant episode of Batman the Animated Series where it's like the animation is just off the freaking charts. And then like the D Team got an episode and you're like, oh man, it's not even close. You just might as well have not have released an episode this week. Like, what the hell?
Oh my god. It sounds a really weird. Like, I love animation, but I don't give bad animation a hard time, because like animation is a thankless,
Oh, it's a
hard
slog.
job.
Yes.
And so like when you're under those deadlines and there's no money to be spent, I don't blame the animators
Totally. No.
for it. I try not to.
That's fair.
Like, harp on it all that much. I just want to appreciate good animation when it's there.
Yeah.
For me, obviously this was welcome, and I thought it was good on them for frontloading this series with a voice that apparently hasn't changed. It's like they went back in time to get Storm. The voice actress for Storm, they literally must have like opened a portal and pulled her through. She sounds phenomenal.
Yep.
I love her portrayal in this series. I honestly was going into this being like, not
impress me.
No, I was literally just like, well, like, I wasn't like hype. I wasn't looking down on it. I just wasn't thinking about it at all. I knew it was going to come out. And I think because of that, I was legitimately impressed.
Yeah.
By everything. The pacing for this is intense.
It is intense, but like,
it feels like the episodes are longer than they are because they're getting a lot of content into it.
Yes.
I like the status quo. I like all the references that they're making. I don't have an issue with Morph being there for our
for cameos.
Yeah,
what else is he gonna do? He was made to die.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally invented to be killed off, to show that like the stakes were high. So anything you do with Morph now is just bonus Morph content.
Yeah,
I will say there is like they are also really like they're emphasizing, which I also kind of appreciate, like the connection between Morph and Wolverine.
Oh, for sure. I like that.
But
like Wolverine spent so much time tracking Morph down.
Yeah.
Wanting Morph back.
Like, they're best friends in this show.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What?
Or more.
What? Oh.
I don't know. But who knows? But I think that like it's one of the things I recognized by the time I got into episode 3,
which we can't talk about, but let me tell you.
When we got to episode 3, I the thought I had was, this is what Marvel animation is supposed to be. This is what the Marvel universe is supposed to feel like. Like, threw away any nostalgia. It was just like, this is what Marvel is supposed to feel like. And I know that a lot of people, like, not even criticism, but like I heard a lot of like people talking about how it's like overly nostalgic and overly melodramatic and, you know, really intense. And like, there's a lot happening in every episode. Like, they did the trial of Magneto in episode 2 in about 2.5 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I was like, there was so much that they jam-packed it, but it didn't feel like, oh man, we didn't spend time doing that. Like, no.
Yeah.
But also, like, it feels like a lived-in universe, and because it is one. But even if there had been no show and they just started with this, it would still like work. because you don't you know you're introduced to the characters, and the characters are what they were. It's not like, oh man, we're missing the huge arc that Gambit went throughout the previous series, although Gambit did go through an arc in that episode where he goes to the Thieves Guild, and it's just the Howard Mackie comic in a freaking episode. But again, like, they managed to distill that whole damn thing into one 22-minute episode. But that's what Marvel should feel like.
Yeah.
Like, this should be the template for Marvel animation. And I love that they created a new little intro. This is Marvel animation. It's not gross and weird and confusing like Marvel Spotlight, which was clearly just them trying to divorce themselves from Echo before Echo came out. I guarantee you'll never see that again. But okay, you want to like take a step forward and go like, yo, Marvel animation, what are we doing here? That it may take a couple of years to make seasons, but like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like you said, the voice cast is great.
Voice cast is great.
There's a couple of posthumous replacements.
Sure.
Ray Chase is a good Cyclops.
Yes.
While also
those
being
are
his own.
really good Cyclops. I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yep. Cyclops also gets a lot of justice. Like, Cyclops has always been portrayed in this show with like a genuine attempt to display his character. Like, this is who he is. He's the leader of the team. He is going to be the heavy. He's going to be set against Wolverine, who is the coolest. And as a result, pop culture is going to like give him a hard time.
Right.
This very deliberately pushes Wolverine into the background, but only so that he does not so that we can highlight why people have favorites of the X-Men. Everyone in the show gets a moment. Cyclops gets 4, but everyone in the show gets a moment for you to highlight, like, oh, this is why the show is so popular. This is why the X-Men are so popular. This is why people think that, like, oh, the Wonder Woman of the Marvel Universe is Storm or Rogue.
Trust me, that moment with Storm in the first episode.
Yes, when they identify she's an Omega level mutant.
That whole sequence, I was like, this is amazing. Like, no wonder.
Yeah.
She was my favorite.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, just turning the sand to glass as she walks across the plains. It's amazing.
It's so good. Like, here's my critique.
Yes.
There is no harmonica play when Bishop shows up.
Bishop is a
like,
whiff.
Why?
Bishop is a complete whiff. They whiffed it. For one thing, no mullet. Missed opportunity to have an awesome mullet. Number 2, no harmonica every time he enters a room. Outrageous. Number 3, he does not say future.
Yeah.
These are the things that make Bishop Bishop.
But I was like, and that's my critique.
Yeah, the critique is
really enjoying
the
it.
critique is Bishop is someone else. Like the critique is Bishop is not a joke. But even in the show, like, Bishop was not a joke. Bishop took himself very seriously.
Yeah.
In that show.
And he takes himself seriously.
He takes himself as seriously as you'd expect in this show. But it is not Bishop. It is just part of the reason why I like Bishop is because of how they portray it. He is very, as they say in the chat, he is underwhelming. He is,
which is unfortunate.
But someone, I think it was DJ, mentioned it on our other show. They did a great job in this show of explaining exactly how Bishop's powers, like being like, oh, what are Bishop's powers? They're like, this is what Bishop's powers are.
They do. And I honestly do appreciate that, because it's just like, whenever you think of Bishop, you think of like him firing his weapon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, no, Bishop has powers, because he is an X-Man.
Right, but his powers are made by other people shooting at him, so he needs also a gun.
Yeah, no, I love it. I do like that. But I do wish he had more to do in the first 2 episodes.
Yep.
Issues. I almost said that.
Right.
Yes, there's a huge thing out there about Gambit and his crop top.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand why anyone's surprised by that.
I was like, yeah, that's what he dresses like. First of all, it's set in 97.
It's set in the 97, and it's Gambit.
Yeah, he knows what he's got, and he's showing it off.
Yeah.
He also has competition, so he's like, I gotta really give up the goods here.
Yeah, I think we all know that, like, in any sort of sporting thing, Gambit will be the first one to call skins.
Exactly. Oh, we playing basketball, skins. There's only like 4 of us. Also, really cool cameos. We got Roberto da Costa in this show, which
which I was like, it's
yeah. Hey, it's Sunfire.
I think it's da Costa.
Yeah, it's da Costa. He's great. I know it's not Sunfire. I was just saying, or Firestar, whatever we call him, it's Sunspot. But he's great.
You're gonna get there.
Yeah. He's great. He was a fun little like I was like, oh no, he's gonna be the Jubilee stand-in, and then like, no, he's leaving. And I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah, it's nice.
But I love Jubilee. I think she's great.
Yeah,
it's fun to see her in there. And Rogue's great. Everybody's great. Cal Dodd as Wolverine is great. George Buza as Beast is awesome. I'm cool with it. Everybody's great.
It's just
Jean Grey is played by Jennifer Hale, which is confusing. because Jennifer Hale is, if not one of the most recognizable voice actors in the business.
She is.
Like the second she opened her mouth, we were like, "Hey, is that Jennifer Hale?"
Yeah, and I like her as a voice actress just in general.
She's amazing.
She's not doing a Jean Grey; she's doing her own version of Jean Grey. I don't hate it.
No, I don't hate it because, like, who cares? But Jean Grey does have a very distinct sound. Now, I understand that Jean Grey is also the original voice actor for Jean Grey is playing
someone else,
the lady with the glasses, whose name escapes me at the moment. I'm sorry.
Oh,
the doctor, so and so. So it's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Who theories abound that she might be secretly Mystique. Yeah, but she does a good job. She's good.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem.
Yeah, and by the way, everyone shouting at us that she has played Jean Grey in the past. We're talking specifically about this cartoon and the fact that like this voice cast is the voice of a lot of people's mutants. And
Steve Blum has played Wolverine.
No,
but I'm not mad that Cal Dodd is playing Wolverine.
Right, but like, so like, it's not that we're like, well, like she's never like she doesn't. It's just that like when you surround her with the voice cast from the past, essentially, or people approximating that, it's more obvious that like she's not the correct voice.
Yeah, Jennifer Hale has played a million characters on a million shows that were coming out at the exact same time as this show. Yeah, like I know what Jean Grey sounds like, and I know what all the characters Jennifer Hale played in 1994 sounded like.
Right, and clearly with Scott, like obviously they had to get someone else that sounded like, and I don't know if it's just because they didn't think that was right, so they just got someone else who had done it before. Like with Rogue, she sounds older and it's a little distracting.
It is a little distracting.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, and that's the thing is like the older actor, like Jean and Rogue's actors are the same age. Again, these are not even nitpicks. It's just these are observations.
Yes.
Because I love Jennifer Hale and I'm thrilled to see her get work. And,
sure.
Because Jennifer Hale, she's gonna like really friggin' nail it. And especially if like things happen to Jean that are like teed up in the second episode. Second episode, I believe
I don't know.
No, let's just say
I don't remember what happens in the second.
There's a lot of work for Jean.
Yes.
And it's gonna be great. And let's just say you ain't seen nothing yet.
Right. No,
you won't believe.
Yeah. It's you won't believe.
Yeah. Actually,
and it's been shared.
And it's been shared 80,000 times on Facebook. We haven't seen episode 4, and I think they're dropping 3 and 4 at the same time. No. I don't know what they're doing with the next one. I think, no, this week we'll just get in 3. So which means we're getting 4 soon. Anyway, it's great. It's awesome. I'm really thrilled with this series. I can't wait for more. And I hope that its success teaches them a lesson about where they should go from here, especially with the failures of other Disney Plus dedicated shows like Secret Invasion and the lackluster reception to What If Season 2. Season 2, by the way, we saw Season 2 What If, and it was like, oh, this is a show we can watch or not, or doesn't matter. We literally watched like 4 episodes in a row, and we went like, we don't need to watch any more of this, do we? And we saw like, I think we wrapped it up, but it was like, whatever. But this is something.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's like, oh, you could keep doing
it's
this.
Funny. You put the first, and I was like, all right, I will watch it when like with the screener, we'd like threw it on. I was like, sure, whatever. And by like the end of episode 2, I was like, put the third one on.
Yeah, we were having technical difficulties, and at one point you were like, it's fine. And then we finally did get through episode 2, and you're like, oh!
I'm like, we have to watch this. So.
Yeah.
So good. I really did enjoy it. It is a lot of fun. It does help, of course, obviously, if you know
any of the lore
of the characters. But if you didn't watch the original X-Men animated, I still think you're probably pretty okay.
Yeah, you don't need to watch it. I mean, like you could, and it would be be weird because it is very much not written like that.
Yeah.
So it's a great show, and I hope there's more. Please make more. That's my note. Can't wait for Spider-Man 98. There's no announcement for that, but I'll take it.
Right.
With this team. Bring back that. I would watch that in a friggin' heartbeat. Hey, listen, if you want to like dovetail the X-Men 97 animated team and universe into its own interconnected Marvel universe, go for it. Please.
What?
For the love of God. Yeah. So let's recommend some comics that are coming out this week that we think you should check out.
I think we should do that. You go first.
I agree. Ultimate Spider-Man number 3 is coming out. Yay. Jonathan Hickman, Marco Cicchetto. Woo. This is the best Spider-Man book on the shelves. Pick it up. Green Hour 10, the most important DC Dawn of DC book It's a great series and it's really fun. Joshua Williamson, Sean Isaacs, check out this book. It's good. The Penguin #8 is one of the best Batman books on the shelves. You need to be reading The Penguin. It is a good series. I don't understand why this is so good. Tom King, Rafael De La Torre. Check out this book. It's so good. Batman Dark Age #1 from Mark Russell and Mike Allred is coming out. You should probably check out the series. Tomorrow, we're dropping a conversation between myself and Jordan Bloom and Patton Oswalt.
Woo!
And let's just say Patton read this issue and he loved it. So I want to see what his take on this is by reading this book as well. So definitely check out that episode dropping tomorrow. And Minor Threats 2 as well. Image is dropping a new series from Tony Fleeks, this time with art by Tone Rodriguez, called Feral #1. If you remembered Stray Dogs, get ready for cats.
I can't with these animal books.
I know.
No.
I read all of Stray Dogs and I did enjoy it. So I will probably be checking out Feral. It's a really, I did. I read it all.
Why?
One of our old comic book retailers employees recommended it to me, and so I thought, I'll just read it. So I just read. I shotgunned the whole damn series.
There you go.
In one afternoon.
I'm not like saying you shouldn't. I was just like,
I read all of Stray Dogs, and so I'll be reading Feral as well. And for an added bonus, as a little reminder, unfortunately, Final Order Cutoff is it's over for this series. But the Schlub dropped a trade paperback. It's coming out, I believe, in April. And the Schlub is a very irreverent, humor-based action-adventure comic book series that features original characters, which showcases a schlubby dentist trading his body with a Superman analog type character and watching the two of them interact and with each other's lives and improve/degrade each other's existences. If you're if you're a fan of like superhero send-ups like The Tick, the Schlub will definitely be up your alley. The art is really, really good. It really, really works for the tone, and also it's consistent and fun and consistently fun. So it's definitely worth checking out if you like that kind of thing. Oh, Sam and Twitch Case Files dropping #1. Yeah, I'm going to check out Sam and Twitch from John Goff and Todd McFarlane and Sisman Kudransky.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, while I'm finishing picking stuff out, we're not going to do a whole full review of it, but you saw Ghostbusters.
I did see Ghostbusters. We saw Ghostbusters. Yeah, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. I enjoyed it. I don't care. I know Mr. Sunday hated it, but we're gonna disagree.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
It's a shame that he didn't like it.
Yeah, it is. But
what were his critiques?
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
I don't need to disagree with him any more than I already do. But and I love and continue to watch.
You know what he can do? He can go kick rocks.
He can kick rocks, mate. But no, I love Mr. Sunday. Nick and James are amazing, and so it will make me question my beliefs. But I did like that movie, and thought everybody did a great job.
I thought it was fun.
No, it was fun. It was fun.
I think it was fun, and it was like
somebody had the audacity to say,
that
it had a complicated plot. It was too complicated. I was like,
who?
What?
Okay.
I mean, like, and I think what they meant was that there are too many things happening in it. And even then, it's like, no, they weren't.
Not really.
There were a lot of characters in it, and most of them didn't have much to do, is the problem. If there's any problem to be had. But I don't have a problem with it. I enjoyed that movie. I had fun with it. It was fun and campy and good. And, it was also less self-indulgent than Afterlife, which I also genuinely had a good time watching, but it was also like more slice of life and more sad. This one just got to live in that universe. And I think we're actually in a place where it's like, it's okay to let more of these things go and move in this direction. I was kind of expecting this to set up multiple franchises, and I think it could, but like, 'cause literally there's so many Ghostbusters at this point. Like, you could have the family movie of Ghostbusters, you could have the older Ghostbusters, and then you could have like Patton Oswalt and Kumail Nanjiani. Oh no, you could get two other funny people, and now you got a present day schlubby Ghostbusters movie going on. And if you want to keep the old guys around, well, hell, make a real Ghostbusters movie with those voice casts, and you can make a CG animated movie about like that's set in the Ghostbusters universe. Maybe you can use the script from Ghostbusters Go to Hell that Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis wrote years and years ago. Or you could do a CG animated movie that just uses the voice cast from the video game. But anyway, enjoyed it. And I know that like it may be contradictory because like I hate porgs, but like the mini puffs are really fun. I just
I know you do.
I blindly
I know.
enjoy the mini puffs,
know.
and I think if they were just running around, I would hate them. But the fact that they love dying makes me love them so much more. Like that they're just, it's like Mr. Meeseeks, where it's like, trust me, they're fine with it. But they actively seek death, but not because they hate themselves, just because they think it's cool and fun. I don't know. I love it. I love them.
I know you do.
So there you go.
I know. Like they that's like you're just like
I'm like, I am here for
on a wavelength.
They made a mini puffed Hallmark ornament when Afterlife came out, and I was like, I need this now.
Yeah.
And even that is them like melting in hot chocolate and being drunk by one. I'm like, yes, they're even killing themselves with that. It's so great.
They love it.
Love it.
So yeah, I enjoyed it too. I guess it's not for everyone, but like it was fun.
Yeah.
It was nice.
No, exactly. Nice. And I don't understand. There's like a weird contingent of like critics online who are like, this movie needs to die. And I'm like, dude, like, whoa.
Yeah.
It does nothing to invalidate the first two, which, like, you know what it is? Maybe because I know James hates Ghostbusters 2. And I like Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
And I like it because it's just Ghostbusters 1 again.
Right. But it is different.
It is different. It is different because, like, I think Venkman is more sympathetic. He actually has an arc, unlike anyone in Ghostbusters.
No one has an arc.
Exactly.
That movie's not about anything in Ghostbusters. Look it up. There's a person on the internet
who did a great video about it.
He's way smarter than me.
Right.
I was like, oh my God.
Right? What?
I like that theory.
Yeah. But Ghostbusters 2, it's fun. Vigo's great. Janusz is awesome. I love the four of them.
Here's what I think is so interesting. I feel like it just goes to show you how much people just need to be on opposite sides of things, which is a really unfortunate thing. I do love the idea of there being different tastes, and like that's why we have so many different styles of art, and we have so many different styles of movies, and we have so many different styles of everything. Like there is something to be said about differences, but to celebrate being mad about Ghostbusters,
right?
For there to be like to use even a term of like backlash, it's Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Now look, I
don't know.
Do I still want a movie that is funny, like? Like where it's like take the dude who played MacGruber, Patton Oswalt, Kumail Nanjiani, and I'm gonna say, oh, well, she can't. She was already a Ghostbuster, but like Kate McKinnon was so great.
Yeah.
Actually, I liked her in Ghostbusters 2016, but like the only thing I liked about that movie, and I like her great. And I liked her anyway. But any woman from the cast of Saturday Night Live, put her on the team, and just a team of Ghostbusters, and the movie is funny, and they bust ghosts. I'm in. Like I'm ready for a Ghostbusters sequel that they would have made in 2000.
Sure.
Because it literally Ghostbusters 2000 would have starred Ben Stiller, Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, and Chris Rock, and it would just been like okay, you know what I mean? And it would have been like, and people would be like, oh, Ghostbusters 2000 sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still would celebrate it.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's just weird to me. It's like out of everything, out of people being like like I'm a Marvel like MCU fan, or like I'm a DC fan, and like that's it. Like we can't help it. We're gonna like argue over who has a better comic, or who's got the better movies, or who's got the better series, or whatever. Like,
Kenan Thompson be a great Ghostbuster.
You can see people like trying to draw lines because it's it's like sports. Well, so, you know what I mean? If this is my team, it's Ghostbusters, guys. I don't know.
Well, it's just tribalism has
so bizarre to me.
It's weird. It's like there's no stakes.
It's so low stakes.
Yeah.
So low stakes. Anyway, here are my books that I'm looking forward to that are coming out this week. Flash number 7.
Yay. Here, speaking of drawing lines in the sand with people who are mad. I mean, no, genuinely, so few people are buying this book. No one can be mad about this series.
Ramon Perez. And like I said, like I'm the first one.
Ramon Perez for this?
Apparently.
Holy shit.
It's not who was drawing it before.
You are in for a surprise.
A good one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Tales of Sand.
Here's the thing. I love
Kookaburra.
I loved the art in the first one, so I'm gonna guess this is.
Yeah, this is not Mike Deodato Jr. This is something else.
No, that's fine. It's either like intentionally done, or it'll be a break because it is issue 7.
Yeah.
We'll see. Or it could be very well done. I love that reaction. I'm here for
You are in for it.
But that said, like I'm the first person to say I love this book.
Yeah.
But totally understand.
If you're a
you're not
Flash
reading it.
fan, you probably don't like it.
I'm not going to sell you on this.
No.
I'm just going to be like, I like this book and I'm glad I get to read it. But I'm very sorry for all of you who are like, I wanted to read a Wally West book.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to read this one.
Not this.
Maybe you'll come around
You'll
to
come
it.
around.
I don't know.
Read the trade.
God's Number 6 is coming out.
Yay.
Jonathan Hickman, Valeria Skeety, freaking
third to last issue of the series.
Yeah, I'm sad for that, but I love this. Hopefully one day it could return.
Yeah.
Now I have hope for those kind of things.
Totally.
But Skeety doing some amazing work in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Really doing amazing work. Hickman just giving me a story that I'm gonna need to reread at some point.
Yeah.
Rise of the Power of 10.
Oh no,
Number
this is it.
Is coming out. The real end is never beginning. Kieran Gillen, RB Silva, doing this creative team for it. Can't wait. Rise I love Rise. I do love Fall.
Yeah,
but I love Rise.
Cool.
Also, X-Force number 50 is coming out. Good for it. X-Force number 50. Ben Percy.
50 issues.
Yeah. Robert Gill on art. Freaking 50 issues. X-Force is going to confront Beast.
And then it's over.
See what happens. Yeah.
And then it'll get rebooted with the 90s logo.
Reckoning. Not a dry eye in the house. Target Beast finale.
Oh.
So if you have been reading this, but you're like, hey, what's going on with Beast?
This is the one to pick up.
Grab.
Yeah, this is definitely the one to grab.
So,
before we go, there are some super chats that we didn't get a chance to talk about. Rodney Coverdale, are you watching Invincible season 2 part 2? No, I haven't watched more than a couple episodes of season 1. Raidu saw the person who boarded the Cyclops fight in episode 1 uses him as an anchor character in the MVC 2. In that moment, I knew the show was in good hands. Agreed. Yeah, that's funny. His anchor character was Cyclops in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Makes sense. Atomica, give them the forecast. Will live rent free in my head for a long time.
Yeah, that was a freaking. I was like,
so dope.
He says that, I'm like, ooh.
Yep. Psycho, Jet Black, better movie, Quantumania or Multiverse of Madness. Multiverse of Madness. I didn't care for either of those movies, but I think Multiverse of Madness actually is about something and is a little less like, ugh. If you just because I love the last, like,
do I have to pick?
Right, like once Doc goes up those stairs to the haunted house, that's the movie they should have made.
Here's why for me it's Quantumanium. Because it doesn't like you give a character assassination to a character who had just like had a fun show and we were going someplace with them, potentially, but like we've gone so far off.
It does ruin Wanda,
Like
no, unless she was infected by Cthulhu.
Come on, yeah, for sure. But that wouldn't be that movie's decision.
No,
to have done that would be
someone else
of that. So then that movie would be the better one. Quantumania is just utterly forgettable.
Yeah, Quantumania just existed. We saw it and we were like, oh, that's kind of fun. I guess
there's a thing that happened.
It was the thing that happened. It wasn't terrible. It just didn't exist. It was just.
There's just nothing to it.
Yeah.
Like there's just nothing to it. Or there's a movie where I'm just like, why is Doctor Strange the ride-along character in his own movie?
In his own sequel? Yeah. But he loves her in every universe. Cut to the Dan Harmon written scene where he says, we're not friends, we were barely lovers. Girk Pectus, the latest Action Comics story was amazing. They made Metropolis citizens going insane terrifying, unlike the dozens of dumb Joker apocalypse stories. Yeah, I gotta read that. I haven't had a chance to do that. Danville 100, since Ghostbusters was brought up, the Ghostbusters game was good. Yes, we loved it. And Ghostbusters 3 with the cast and phoned in Bill Murray performances. Sure is. He quit before they even finished recording him. Like, he's so not there. He left before they even finished the damn thing. But yeah, it's I like that game a lot. I played the shit out of that game. Lane Kramer, I'm wondering how you feel about them going back to the Magneto Rogue romance in 97, since this version of the show feels sort of icky.
I don't know if it feels icky for me. I think they did a lot of like visual storytelling with where Rogue is in her brain right now, where like she really appreciates the relationship she has with Gambit. But you know, like she misses like physical touch.
Yeah,
like,
and
she,
that's
like wants to be able to
interact.
And I don't think any of us can understand that.
Right, exactly. That said, like, Rogue is not 14. Rogue is an adult woman who can decide to be with whomever she chooses. So as far as I'm concerned, like, that's like, I always see Rogue as like a 20-something.
I mean, I guess it's a question of like, because Magneto is
right. He was like 108, you know, but like nobody complains about those Twilight movies. but like at a certain point, like Rogue has passed sexual maturity. You know what I mean? It's like I don't see it as a problem.
I don't know. It's all weird because also her voice actress is like
It's like-
sounds older, so it's like
So it's like no, Rogue's much older
I
now.
don't know. I don't know what to think anymore.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I get that like what she's looking for is like
is
physical touch.
connection. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but we want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. And of course, if you want to check out more, there's so much more. Tiffany's playing video games on twitch.tv/ComicPop or on ComicPop Return, or I'm sorry, on youtube.com at ComicPop Plays. Plus, we got more on this channel. Of course, I'm chatting with Pat Oswalt and Jordan Bloom tomorrow on the show, Elseworlds Exchange. So check that out as well. We would appreciate it. And if you're listening to this show, thanks for listening. Give us a 5-star rating. And of course, if you're here on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, and check your notification settings so that you know when we're going live every week on Mondays. So long, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.